A minute of silent prayer. Please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, buyan ka ng magiging, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisingil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong baghaw, may nilang ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nakikinig, ang bituin ng araw niya kailanman may magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng warangit pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mamapit at mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we defer the calling of the roll.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. Motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I also move that we defer the approval of journal.
Is there any objection? Hearing none. Motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we take up the reference of business and request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measures on first reading as well as resolutions and communications. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Secretary General is so directed.
Reference of business. Bills on first reading. House Bill number 6000 and 6001. Declaring Ulot River, Lulugayan Falls, and Eco Village in Caligbaya, Paranas, Samar as ecotourism sites. Representative Tan Shari.
To the Committee on Tourism.
House Bill number 6002, requiring all graduating elementary, high school, and college students to plant at least 10 trees, sapling each as a prerequisite for graduation. Representative Villanueva, Eduardo, and Rivera.
To the Special Committee on Reforestation.
House Bill number 6003, requiring the inclusion of anti-corruption and governance education in higher education curriculum. Representative Villanueva, Eduardo, and Rivera.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill number 6004, strengthening access to credit of MSMEs. Representative Villanueva, Eduardo, and Rivera.
To the Committee on Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise.
House Bill number 6005, providing for the creation of the Philippine Extractive Industries and Transparency Initiative. Representative Villanueva, Eduardo, and Rivera.
To the Committee on Natural Resources.
House Bill number 6006, enhancing the safety of pedestrians. Representative Villanueva, Eduardo, and Rivera.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill number 6007, penalizing the unjustified interruption of service provided by the distribution of utilities and telecommunications and broadcasting entities. Representative Villanueva, Eduardo, and Rivera.
To the Committee on Trade and Industry.
House Bill number 6008, recognizing alternative modes of public transportation, providing regulations governing their operations. Representative Villanueva, Eduardo, and Rivera.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill number 6009, amending Presidential Decree number 972 as amended by Presidential Decree 1174. Representatives Villanueva, Eduardo, and Rivera.
To the Committee on Natural Resources.
House Bill number 6010, requiring the establishment of dialysis clinics in all national, regional, and provincial hospitals and providing free dialysis treatments to indigent patients. Representative Villanueva, Eduardo, and Rivera.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill number 6011, providing a standard of care for the treatment of persons with bleeding disorders, establishing treatment centers. Representative Villanueva Eduardo and Rivera.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill number 6012, requiring proof of available parking space from motor vehicle owners in metropolitan areas as a prerequisite for the registration of a motor vehicle with the LTO. Representative Villanueva Eduardo and Rivera.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill number 6013, establishing the Philippine Center for Diabetes and Endocrinology. Representative Villanueva Eduardo and Rivera.
To the Committee on Government Reorganization and Committee on Health.
House Bill number 6014, rationalizing government interventions in labor disputes by adopting the essential services criteria in the exercise of the assumption or certification power of the Secretary of Labor and Employment and decriminalizing violations therefore. Representative Villanueva Eduardo and Rivera.
To the Committee on Labor and Employment.
House Bill number 6015, amending Section 16 of RA number 7610 as amended by RA number 9231. Representative Villanueva Eduardo and Rivera.
To the Committee on Welfare of Children.
House Bill number 6016, providing campus housing to tenured faculty members in state university and colleges. Representative Villanueva Eduardo and Rivera.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill number 6017, requiring the provision of infant-friendly facilities in government agencies and other establishments. Representative Villanueva Eduardo and Rivera.
To the Committee on Welfare of Children.
House Bill number 6018, institutionalizing skills training program and providing job opportunities to inmates in detention facilities. Representative Villanueva Eduardo and Rivera.
To the Committee on Labor and Employment.
House Bill number 6019, lowering the optional retirement age of public school teachers from 60 years old to 55 years old. Representative Villanueva Eduardo and Rivera.
To the Committee on Government Enterprises and Privatization.
House Bill number 6020, providing for the maximization of benefits from finite materials and mineral products and quarry resources. Representative Villanueva Eduardo and Rivera.
To the Committee on Natural Resources.
House Bill number 6021, providing for a permanent appointment to all casual and contractual employees of the government who have rendered the prescribed years of service. Representative Villanueva Eduardo and Rivera.
To the Committee on Civil Service and Professional Regulation.
House Bill number 6022, ensuring safe drinking water. Representative Villanueva Eduardo and Rivera.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill number 6023, strengthening further workers' right to self-organization. Representative Villanueva Eduardo and Rivera.
To the Committee on Labor and Employment.
House Bill number 6024, prohibiting discrimination on the basis of age, sex, civil status, color, economic status, ethnicity, medical condition, physical disability, political opinion or affiliation, race or religious belief. Representative Villanueva Eduardo and Rivera.
To the Committee on Human Rights.
House Bill number 6025, strengthening the employment rights of members of the Reserve Force of the AFP. Representative Villanueva Eduardo and Rivera.
To the Committee on National Defense and Security.
House Bill number 6028, amending Section 55 of Batasang Pambansa Bilang 881. Representative Villanueva Eduardo and Rivera.
To the Committee on Suffrage and Electoral Reforms.
House Bill number 6027, protecting unattended children in motor vehicles. Representative Villanueva Eduardo and Rivera.
To the Committee on Welfare of Children.
House Bill number 6028, strengthening the barangay daycare system. Representative Villanueva Eduardo and Rivera.
To the Committee on Welfare of Children.
House Bill number 6029, requiring all foreign nationals who intend to work in the Philippines to present an employment permit prior to the issuance of a non-immigrant visa or temporary admission to the Philippines. Representative Villanueva Eduardo and Rivera.
To the Committee on Labor and Employment.
House Bill number 6031, establishing the Philippine Institution of Sport. Representative Hernandez.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Bill number 6032, requiring the placement of defibrillators in public spaces. Representative Hernandez.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill number 6033, establishing a mandatory evacuation center in all cities, provinces, and municipalities. Representative Hernandez.
To the Committee on Disaster Management.
House Bill number 6034, the revised charter of the GSIS. Representative Rodriguez.
To the Committee on Government Enterprise and Privatization.
Message from the President. Line veto message dated 22 January 2020 on RA number 11467.
To the Rules Committee.
Communications. Letters dated 7 and 14 January 2020 of Janice G. Aizonzales, Deputy Director, Office of the General Counsel and Legal Services, BSP, furnishing the House with duly certified authenticated BSP issuances.
To the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries.
Letter dated 9 January 2020 of Maria Velasco Allones, CESO 1, Executive Director, Career Executive Service Board, submitting their BAR number 1 quarterly physical report of operation as of December 31, 2019.
To the Committee on Civil Service and Professional Regulation.
Letter dated January 22, 2020 of Salvador C. Medeldea, Executive Secretary, Office of the President, transmitting 2 original copies of RA number 11467, which was signed by the President, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, together with his line veto message.
To the Archives.
Committee report. Report number 204 of the Committee on Women and Gender Equality on House Bill number 6078.
To the Rules Committee. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we would like to greet the guests of our Honorable Deputy Speaker, Michael L. Romero, and our presiding officer. His guests in the plenary today are Ms. Pamela Sofia Lapid, Ms. Aida Garcia, Ms. Lilibeth Romero, and Ms. Vivica Lagman Bautista.
May the guests of... May my guest rise. Welcome to the House of Representatives, my mother, Lilibeth Romero. Thank you. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we suspend session for a few minutes.
Session is suspended.
Hanggat di sinasabi ng ubusin. Yung magic word. O lagi.
Session resumed.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the gentle lady from the 4th District of Quezon, Honorable Representative Helen D. Tan, to be recognized on a question of privilege.
Our Majority Leader and the Chairperson of the Committee on Health, what is the nature of the question of privilege?
This is a matter on coronavirus.
Please proceed.
Good afternoon. I rise on a matter of personal and collective privilege, Mr. Speaker, distinguished members of this august chamber, regarding the country's preparedness for the global health emergencies, especially in the light of the emergence of deadly coronavirus that, as of the latest count, reports say that it had already killed at least 81 people in China, with almost 2,800 or 2,798 to be exact, confirmed ill. As per data of the Department of Health, global risk is so far moderate, while the Western Pacific region is placed on a high risk with, of course, China having a very high risk of coronavirus. However, latest reports reveal that the World Health Organization already admitted an error in its assessment and placed the global risk at a high instead of moderate level. Pero nasaan po ba talaga ang Pilipinas sa gitna ng pagkalat ng sakit na ito? Sa kasalukuyan, habang mainit natin pinag-uusapan ang coronavirus, wala pang naitala na kumpirmadong nahawahan ng sakit na ito sa ating bansa. This is something that we need to be thankful for because Thailand and USA have 5 confirmed cases as we speak. Australia and Japan, Malaysia, Singapore, South Korea have 4. France has 3. Vietnam has 2. And Canada and Nepal have 1. These are confirmed cases. Sa Pilipinas po ay wala pa. Bagamat meron pong minomonitor na kaso ang Department of Health, nag-umpisa sa 11 at bumaba na nga sa 6. Ay wala pa sa mga iniimbestigahan na ito ang mga kumpirmado na mayroong novel coronavirus. Kaya wala pong dapat ikabahala ang publiko sa kasalukuyan, ngunit hindi rin ito dahilan para hindi tayo patuloy na maghanda sakaling makapasok ang sakit na ito sa ating bansa. I think the DOH or the Department of Health has taken the necessary proactive steps to stop the entry of coronavirus in the country, like the establishment of the NCOV task force. It has also taken the initiative to heighten border screening through thermal scanning and the health declaration checklist. For sick passengers, the Department of Health has utilized decision table to evaluate these individuals as well as triaging at the arrival area. It is also regularly releasing a daily update on its surveillance of the virus. Si Secretary Duque po ay patuloy na nakikipag-ugnayan sa kanyang mga counterparts at sa World Health Organization patungkol po sa mga mabisang paraan upang pigilan ang sakit na ito. But while the government is trying to do everything to spare the Filipinos for this virus, I am calling upon the public to remain calm and responsible amidst this global threat. Sa lahat po ng ating mga kababayan, huwag tayong magpanik at magpakalat ng mga maling balita o fake news tungkol sa coronavirus dahil dito nanggagaling ang takot ng ating mga kababayan. Makinig lamang po tayo sa mga kinauukulan, partikular po ang Department of Health at World Health Organization dahil sila ang nakakaalam ng tamang impormasyon. Pangalawa, hindi lamang dahil may coronavirus, pero dapat po ay lagi tayong malinis sa katawan. Maghugas lagi ng kamay at umiwas na agad sa mga taong may sintomas ng ubo at sipon. Kung may ubo man, ay dapat kayong lumayo at magtakip ng bibig at ilong sa tuwing uubo o kaya babahin. Proper coughing etiquette must be observed at all times. The Department of Health also advises the public to consume enough water 8 basong tubig na malinis araw-araw, lutuing maigi ang pagkain, at kung may simptomas ng ubot-sipon ay pumunta na po agad sa doktor. Huwag mag-self-medicate lalo na kung may lagnat, ubo o respiratory symptoms, hinihingal o nahihirapang huminga dahil yan po ay mga simptomas, posibleng simptomas ng coronavirus. As we speak, a vaccine is yet to be developed to fight this virus and neither a specific treatment is available. Pwede po itong makuha mula sa taong infected ng coronavirus at dahil ito ay mula sa malaking pamilya ng viruses na nagdudulot ng respiratory illness tulad ng pangkaraniwang sipon at mas seryosong infeksyon katulad ng MERS-CoV at SARS coronavirus, may posibilidad na manggaling rin ito sa hayop. In fact, ang nCoV ay nanggaling po sa hayop at pwede pong makahawa sa tao, between humans. While no less than the WHO saying that coronavirus is not yet a public health emergency of international concern, there is a possibility that it may yet become one if death toll and confirmed cases continue to rise. As of yesterday, the WHO risk assessment is for China, it's very high. At the regional level, it's high, and at the global level, it's high also. An emergency committee that was convened in Geneva to advise the WHO on the virus outbreak was, as a matter of fact, divided on whether to issue the recommendation to declare coronavirus as a public health emergency of international concern. So at this point, Your Honors, Mr. Speaker, it bears asking if the government is ready, the Department of Health in particular, just in case the coronavirus is declared as a public health emergency of international concern. This is particularly important in light of a report of the Global Preparedness Monitoring Board, or GPMB, an independent body that assesses how ready we are for the worldwide emergency, that warns that humankind is stumbling towards the 21st century, equivalent to the 1918 influenza pandemic, which affected 1/3 of the world's population and killed approximately 50 million people. In specific terms, it is essential to know the risk of local transmission of the virus. We need to know if the Department of Health is prepared, and not just prepared, but fully prepared, if ever cases of novel coronavirus are reported in the country. Our protocols are in place. Do we have the guidelines, or do we have the infrastructure to accommodate the patient, or do we have the wherewithal to address the eventuality? Mr. Speaker, as Chair of the Committee on Health, there is a lot to ask and we need the specifics regarding the coronavirus, and this means that the House, in the exercise of its legislative power and oversight functions, is perforce to call the Secretary of Health to appear before this very chamber in order to shed light on this pressing health concern. I hope, Mr. Speaker, that in so doing, we will be able to protect and promote the health of the people and instill health consciousness among them. Mr. Speaker, it is my hope, as I am sure it is also the hope of everyone in this chamber, that we will win as one against coronavirus. We win as one, as the official slogan for last year's SEA Games also applies to us as a nation today. Our success to stop coronavirus at the borders of our archipelago is the success of every Filipino. Magtulungan po tayong labanan ang sakit na ito. Maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable Gentleman Lito Atienza from the Buhay Party List for his interpellation.
Honorable Lito Atienza is recognized.
Thank you. With the kind indulgence of the lady, Member of Congress, this representation would like to ask some questions from her to clarify the issues she has brought forth today in this Congress.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Yung po bang kabibigkas lang ninyo ay inyong pananaw na nakaugat sa inyong detalye na hawak tungkol dito sa nababalitang kuminsan tinatawag ng pandemic. Yung iba naman nakakatakot, malapit na raw maging epidemic. Yung po bang mga tinura ninyo ay angkop o merong basihan sa katotohanan?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Speaker. Yes po, ang atin pong nabanggit, katulad po ng risk assessment, no, ay nanggaling po doon sa World Health Organization. No? At doon po na itala yung level, no? Like for example po, sa level po ng sa China, ito ay very high. Regional ay itinala na po na high ang high risk at global mataas din po.
Kapula po na, Mr. Speaker, ang balita na lumalabas tungkol dito sa isyong ito, sa sakit na ito, ay kalat sa buong mundo at umabot na rito sa atin. But it is a fact. Wala pa tayong kaso rito. Meron ba kayong masasabing isang kaso na masasabing yun ay galing sa coronavirus?
Tama po, Mr. Speaker. Sa pangkasalukuyan po ay wala pong naitala, as I said earlier po in my speech, na wala pa pong na-confirm doon sa tests ng Department of Health na nagpositibo sa coronavirus.
Wala pa tayong kaso rito, ni isa man lang. May kasabihan, there is no greater fear than fear itself. Pagpatuloy ang ating pag-uusap tungkol dito, patuloy ang headline story, patuloy ang mga warning, ang paggamit ng maskara, huwag kayong gagawa nito, huwag kayong pupunta ron. Yan po'y pananakot eh. Yan ay nakakatakot. Kaya lahat ngayon, nakikita nyo, mga nakamaskara na mga Pilipino, malaking negosyo po yan. Ang mahal-mahal ng maskara. At ngayon, may lumalabas na balita, magkakaroon ng bakuna. Bakuna na naman. Natiyak. Sasakmalin ang lahat ng tao sapagkat takot na sila. Eh bakit tayo natatakot? Eh may isang kaso, wala. Kaya ang akin po naman, the mere fact that you're taking the issue on the floors of Congress, I hope you have one case to point out. Okay. Otherwise, we are all participating in the hysterics of the world, especially in Asia, and now, locally, in the country. Ako, hindi po ako nababagabag sapagkat kailangan sigurado tayong may problema bago tayo manawagan sa lahat na gumawa nito, gumawa nun, kung hindi, nagbibigay tayo ng takot, wala naman dahilan. For all you know, this is one big commercial hyperbole to promote some material, financial gains for some people. Until and when medical science can declare this is a problem, ito po ang sakit na ito, ay palagay ko, hindi natin dapat pansinin muna. Pabayaan natin ang Department of Health gumawa ng aksyon. Sila, trabaho nila, makinig, umaksyon, humanap ng paraan. Kung merong panganib, iligtas ng tao, ang Pilipino. Pero kung hindi po sila makakakita ng anuman, ako'y nababahala. Napag-uusapan pa natin sa Kongreso nito. Di kagat na kagat tayo kung ito'y isang pakana. We are all swallowing everything that is being dished out. When the truth and in fact, as you stand there and I stand here, if I ask you, ano ba talaga ang symptoms ng coronavirus?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Salamat po doon sa unang nasabi nyo na pananaw po ninyo. At ang katotohanan po, yung coronavirus ay concern nating lahat globally. No? Hindi po natin gusto na makapasok siya dito sa ating bansa. At yun yung measures na ginagawa, I think, ng iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno na ma-prevent natin. Naniniwala tayo, prevention is better than cure. So ayaw po nating hintayin na pumasok dahil ang coronavirus is also a deadly virus, no? Nakakamatay, katulad ng naitala po doon sa China. At ganun din, hindi natin alam kung ano ba talaga ang behavior nitong virus na to. So, up to now, ongoing po ang pag-aaral ng ating mga scientists and experts, researchers around the world para talaga tingnan. But ang mahirap po, yung coronavirus, ang symptoms ay katulad po ng symptoms ng ordinary common colds like sipon, ubo, nilagnat, at yung iba nahihirapang huminga o kinakapos ng paghinga. So, mahirap po, Mr. Speakers, i-identify siya doon sa lahat ng mga symptoms of other viruses na na-identify na ng ating mga scientists.
Bilang isang mambabatas, kayo. Bilang isang doktora, kayo. Hindi po ba dapat kung wala rin po naman kayong kasiguruhan, mag-iingat tayo sa ating mga sinasabi, lalo't-lalo na, dinadala natin ang usapin ngayon sa Kongreso ng Pilipinas. Baka naman lahat ng may sipon, lahat ng may lagnat, lahat ng may trangkaso, yan po'y libo-libo yan. Matataranta. Anong gagawin? Meron po ba kayo may papayo?
Okay, Mr. Speaker, that's the reason why po ay meron pong guidelines, no? Kung kailan ka dapat sasabihin na ikaw ay may risk, no? Sa pangkasalukuyan, ang Department of Health po and World Health Organization ay nagtala kung paano. Halimbawa po, ikaw ay sinisipon, inuubo, nilalagnat, meron po tayong suspect, probable, and confirmed case. Kung sa suspect ka, meron kang isasatisfy na isa doon sa criteria. Ikaw ba ay merong exposure o may history ng travel in China? Or nagkaroon ka ba ng close contact from anyone na nanggaling po doon sa China? So, meron din pong basehan. At yan naman po ay, Mr. Speaker, nakakascade sa ating mga health facilities and health workers. Pero yun nga po, ang gusto nating ibigay para sa ating sa ating mga kababayan yung kahandaan na alam mo na dapat ito ay pagdudahan mo na posible na siya ay coronavirus.
Gaya na sinabi po namin, Mr. Speaker, marahil ngayon, as we speak and exchange views, there could be 10,000, 100,000 Filipinos with ordinary colds, coughing, merong sinus, may lagnat. Lahat sila matataranta. Wala naman tayong ino-offer na kasiguruhan. Ano ang diferensya, and it is not enough to say similar, ano ang diferensya ng trangkaso at nung merong coronavirus?
Mr. Speaker, actually
Meron po ba kayong alam doon?
Pareho po. Masasabi lang po natin na siya ay coronavirus kung mag-undergo po siya, yung pasyente, ng specific test. At masasabi na positibo siya na coronavirus ang cause nung kanyang, sinasabi niyo po, ang presentasyon ay trangkaso. So, kailangan po ng diagnostic test or
Kung ang
laboratory
isang
test.
tao ay merong trangkaso ngayon, maaari ba niyong masabi dito sa ating hapag, eto, ang bantayan mo, baka meron kang coronavirus. Hindi sapat yung lagnat. Hindi sapat yung nananakit yung kalamnan, hindi sapat lahat yung simptoma ng influenza. Meron po ba kayong may papayo?
So, yun pong symptoms natin, tama po kayo, hindi siya sapat. Dahil para-pareho siya ng presentasyon. Kung kaya nga po sinasabi natin, yung criteria tinitingnan. Kasama po, halimbawa po ako, Mr. Speaker, I'm a doctor, kung tanungin ko ang pasyente, nilalagnat ka, sinisipon, inuubo, pwede kong sabihin na siya ay ordinaryo na common colds or flu na meron tayo sa Pilipinas, kung nakita ko doon sa interviews ko na wala naman siyang history ng travel or exposure, close contact. But right there and there, pwede kong sabihin sa kanya, oh, that's ordinary. Pero kung meron po tayo sa interview natin, Mr. Speaker, na nakita na meron siyang risk, no? Then that's the time magre-request po tayo ng specific test para sabihin na coronavirus.
Ano po ang hahanapin sa tests?
It's the strain, yung kinukuha po sa test, wala po tayo sa Pilipinas nitong test na to, Mr. Speaker, yung strain po ng virus na specific doon sa novel coronavirus.
Dito po ba sa atin sa Pilipinas, nakita na po yung strain na yon?
Wala po.
Wala.
So ang meron po tayo ngayon doon sa RITM ay yung strain ng dati pang naranasan natin, like yung MERS-CoV and SARS. So dahil bago po ito, ay kahit po ang mga scientists natin from China or around the world, ay tinitingnan nila yung genetic sequence. Ang maganda po, Mr. Speakers, that at a very early stage, the scientists from China were able to identify the genetic sequence at yun po ang naging dahilan kung bakit nakadevelop po sila ng specific test.
Ang alam po namin, Mr. Speaker, ang daming may sakit ng TB na Pilipino. Ang alam po namin, Mr. Speaker, ang dami, daan-daan libong Pilipino ang namamatay taon-taon sa problemang ito. Bakit wala tayong panawagan tungkol sa TB? Bakit wala tayong aksyon? Ang balita ko, ipupunta pa rito ang Secretary of Health para bigyan tayo ng briefing. Anong briefing? May sasabihin ba siyang kulay, anyo, at epekto nitong virus na ito? Kung wala, ang payo ko sa kanya, lumabas ka na lang, gamutin mo mga Pilipinong may TB na mahirap na walang kalaban-labang namamatay. Yun ay katotohanan. Itong coronavirus, hindi ko sigurado kung ito'y pananakot lamang, negosyo, at pagsasamantala sa kakulangan ng kaalaman ng tao. So before we act, I would strongly state our position. We should be very prudent. Let us not add a little more panic where there should not be. Because not a single case has been established in the Philippines. So therefore, ang isigaw natin, wala tayong problema. Magpakaligaya at magtrabaho tayo. Kung meron kayong sakit, magpahinga kayo. Baka yan ay influenza, yan ay sipon, yan ay ubo, yan ay lagnat. Marami pong gamot para dyan. Huwag kayong humiga na labang, naku, meron akong coronavirus. Sino nagsabi niyan? Narinig ko, panawagan ng congresswoman, kami raw, tayo raw ay mag-ingat. ang payo ko, hindi po. Hindi para mag-ingat. Ang payo ko sa Department of Health, asikasuhin nyo ang merong high blood, ang merong diabetes, ang merong tuberculosis, na mga mahihirap na namamatay araw-araw. Namamatay. At alam naman natin kung ano talagang mga simptomo nito mga ito. Madali nilang makikita yung mga yan kung talagang yan ang aasikasuhin nila. Mag-assign na lang sila ng isang team, sundan yung issue ng coronavirus. Pero do not alarm the nation unnecessarily. No one in this chamber can really say, I know about coronavirus. I will explain to the nation about it. I would suggest you go on TV and you tell the people, eto bantayan nyo. Pag kayo tinutubuan ng kung ano dyan, baka coronavirus na yan. Pero kung sabihin nyo, kayo may ubo, kayo may sipon, kayo may lagnat, kayo merong nananakit ang inyong mga paa, hita, kamay, masakit ang ulo nyo, baka meron kayong coronavirus. Yun ang sinasabi ko, ang panawagan po ng inyong lingkod, hinay-hinay lang. Huwag tayong mataranta dahil baka tayo na dadala sa dengue, baka tayo nadadala sa tetanus toxoid, baka tayo nadadala sa negosyo rather than serbisyo. Anyway, I congratulate the lady for having the guts to stand up and talk about this subject matter, although I am quite disappointed because she is not an authority right now because she does not have the real data needed to be accurate in our warning or advisory to our people. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po. Again, I just want to reiterate na ang intensyon po ng privilege speech na ito is to actually allay the fears of the public and find out the readiness of the Department of Health just in case yung virus po ay makapasok dito sa ating bansa.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the lady.
Mr. Speaker,
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the lady from the 1st District of Iloilo, the Honorable Representative Janet Garin, for her interpellation.
Honorable Janet Garin is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, distinguished colleague. Of course, my greetings to the chairwoman of the Committee on Health. Earlier, you mentioned about the World Health Organization taking a step back on this issue. Can you please expound on this?
Actually, from the time po na, Mr. Speaker, in-inform ang World Health Organization ng Government of China sa dami ng pneumonia cases in Wuhan, ay nagkipag-ugnayan ang World Health Organization actively sa ating mga experts and scientists para alamin at matulungan ang China ano ba itong virus na ito na kumakalat sa probinsya ng Wuhan. At ganun din, ang panel of experts ay nag-convene, I think several days ago, upang pag-usapan ano ang level ng risk nito at the regional and global.
So what did they say and ano po ang naging step back? Was it a change in decision-making? Was it a change in statement? Or was it a progressive statement that was actually valid?
It's a progressive statement kasi katulad po ng nabanggit ko kanina doon sa aking talumpati, Mr. Speaker, initially, ang tingin nila ay moderate lang ang risk assessment and then nung last silang nag-convene ay naitaas na ito sa high risk.
Ano po ang pananaw nyo sa mga ganitong sitwasyon? Is this a setback on the side of the World Health Organization? Or is this expected in situations where there are emerging infectious diseases?
It is expected sapagkat nakita po natin sa experience ng mga bansa sa paglabas ng iba't ibang virus katulad ng SARS and MERS-CoV na hindi natin ma-determine ano ba talaga yung behavior ng virus na ito ay nagbabago-bago ang data, ganun din sa pagdating ng mga data sa kanila, nababago-bago din ang pagtingin nila. So, ine-expect din natin na in the coming days or weeks, doon sa nakukuha nila na mga data, maaaring magkaroon din ng mga pagbabago pang mga pronouncement ang World Health Organization.
Mr. Chair, distinguished colleague, sasang-ayon ko po ba sa akin if I interpret the acts of WHO this way? Nung una pong itong pumutok at sinabi nga ng mga kaukulang na mamahala ng kalusugan sa China, sa World Health Organization na marami ang nagkaka-pneumonia, it was an unusual spike, epidemiological-wise speaking. Ang sinabi ng WHO, nagkaroon sila ng pagpupulong at ang sinabi nila is, we are not declaring this situation as a public health emergency of international concern. Tama po ba?
Tama
at ang
po,
naging
Mr.
rason po
Speaker.
dito dahil yung una, nangyari lang po siya sa China at wala po siya sa buong mundo. Tama po ba?
Tama po, Mr. Speaker.
And the progress is because as the days and the weeks passed by, there were already documented and confirmed cases outside China.
Tama po, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah. That's why, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, I'm making this categorical statement on the floor kasi minsan, baka naman mamaya yung WHO sisihin. Bakit sinabi nyo, hindi public health concern, hindi international emergency, tapos ngayon sasabihin nyo international emergency. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, I would just like to explain that the way they work in situations like this, nawawala po ang control sa bawat bansa, sa bawat region, and it is elevated to the central level. Do you agree with
Tama po, Mr. Speaker.
And in this case, kaya sinabing hindi pa dahil yung nagpo-positibo, confined pa lang doon sa isang lugar.
Tama po, Mr. Speaker.
In other words, that is a usual process and we should not be blaming WHO, just like other people who keep on saying that the World Health Organization is bad science and WHO has to be blamed because of the resurgence of polio. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, may I move forward in saying that earlier, I heard the term commercial hyperbole. Ibig po sabihin, baka ito namang sitwasyon na ito, haka-haka lamang dahil merong mga grupong nag-i-interest para magka-negosyo dito. Do you affirm or confirm that statement or do you negate that statement, scientifically speaking?
Mr. Speaker, yes po, nabanggit po ng ating previous interpellator na may ganong fear, no? At yun naman po ay ipinaliwanag natin, sinagot din po naman natin na hindi po natin gusto na makapasok dito yung virus. Ang pinaka-importante ngayon ay yung prevention, no? Kaya kahit may maliit na case or walang confirmed the case in the Philippines, ang kahandaan ay napakahalaga pa rin.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, I appreciate your answer, but let me politely say that it did not answer directly my question. Ang katanungan ko po, kanina may nagsabing, this might be a commercial hyperbole, meaning gawa-gawa lang po ito, katang-isip ng tao, kwentong kutsero, dahil sa interes ng iilang negosyante. Do you affirm with this hypothesis? Or do you think it does not have a place in situations when emerging infectious disease with approximately 5% mortality is being discussed?
I do not affirm on that claim,
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
considering that there's no vaccine yet developed on that virus.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, distinguished colleague. On one note, I would say yes and no. No, it is not a commercial hyperbole, especially if you're talking about an illness that is newly discovered from a mutated virus. Definitely po, hindi po gawa-gawa ng tao yon. Pero pangalawa naman po, the commercial hyperbole might actually come from those sowing panic, declaring and spreading statements para po marami ang bumili ng mask, lalo na po yung ordinaryong mask, that for the information of our distinguished colleagues, the size of the virus is much, much smaller than the pores of the ordinary mask that you have with you. Pahiram nga, Congressman Gaite. May baon ka pala, sir. Buti na lang eh. What can be construed here as a commercial hyperbole is like the dominant mask like this that's going around, na ang butas po dito, if I'm be allowed to laymanize, ang butas dito mas malaki kesa coronavirus. Ibig sabihin, pag may coronavirus at bumahing sa harap mo, kaya niya itong pasukin. In other words, this is not actually effective. And that can be called commercial hyperbole. But not the scientists, the multinationals, the researchers, and the governments who are willing to shelve their resources, their income, and their money just so we can have a vaccine for this illness. And the timetable, I believe, was given at 3 months. Can our distinguished chairman of the Committee on Health affirm to that?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, but this is the reason why gusto po nating tawagin din ang Secretary ng Department of Health. Although ginagawa na nila, Mr. Speaker, yung information dissemination on general precautions or self-protection measures para hindi po pagsasamantalahan ng mga negosyante, no, ang ating mga kababayan sa gitna po nitong usapin ng coronavirus. So, kung mabasa niyo po, hindi naman inilagay talaga doon yung at this point sa ating bansa na magsuot ka ng mask, no? Kaya napakahalaga yung impormasyon na yon. Ang pinakamahalaga ay sundin yung fix na ginagawa natin, yung hand washing, yung avoid yung close contacts, which I think alam ng madami. Subalit, dahil nga po hindi malinaw, Mr. Speaker, sa ating mga kababayan, ano ba talaga ito, paano nakakahawa, ay siguro marapat na marinig yung kumpirmasyon na walang kaso sa Pilipinas, but eto kailangang sundin. At ganun din, yung commercial, yung
Commercial hyperbole.
pananamantalan ng ating mga negosyante ay maiwasan.
Let me just put it categorically clear, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague. Ang sinasabi niyo po, ang mga datos na binibigay ng iba't ibang bansa kasama ang WHO ay hindi po kathang-isip ng isang tao o isang kumpanya at ito ay katotohanan na dapat harapin. Tama po ba?
Yes po.
Subalit,
Mr.
yung
Speaker.
ibang nag-aabuso na nagbibigay ng panic para magbenta ng maraming mask na hindi naman epektibo kontra sa virus is a possible commercial hyperbole.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah. Moving forward, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, nasabi niyo po kanina na kailangan nga may mga advokasya dahil hindi pa maliwanag sa tao kung paano sila nahahawa. Sa pananaw niyo po ba bilang chairman ng ating komitiba, ang mga naging report po sa inyo, paano po ba nai-spread yung nCoV 2019?
As of now, ang sinabi po, ang nCoV ay naipapasa through droplet transmission. No? Ibig sabihin po yung sa pagbahin, pag-ubo ng ating mga kababayan na infected ang pwedeng maging source noon. No? So yun po ang sa ngayon na impormasyon na naka-publish.
Thank you for that, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague. Napansin ko po kasi nalilito po ang tao, lalo na po yung mga hindi doktor. Ang pagkakaintindi po ng karamihan, if you say direct contact by respiratory droplets, kapareho lang po siya ng airborne. Tama po ba ito o mali?
Actually, tama po kayo na may misconception ang mga tao na akala nila airborne. No? Ang pagkakaiba po nito, ang droplet transmission po ay mas malaki, no? Yung particulates or yung virus, no? Na pwedeng mag-lodge po doon sa isang like secretions or in the surfaces. At kailangan po ng close contact, no? At least 3 feet. Yung airborne naman po ay ang pagkakaiba ay sumasama lamang sa hangin at kailangan po ng mas malapit na contact, no? Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, papayagan niyo po ba akong maka-expound konti dyan? Ang ibig pong sabihin, hindi totoo na pareho ang airborne sa meaning ng direct contact through respiratory droplets. Magkaiba sila. Tama po ba?
Tama.
Mr. Speaker, if you will allow me, distinguished colleague, laymanizing it. Ang novel coronavirus, hindi po siya nakakahawa dala ng hangin. It is not airborne, unlike measles, tuberculosis, which is a bacterial infection. Ibig sabihin, ikumpara mo sa tigdas, na bawat environment, it is times 17 dahil dala siya ng hangin. Ibig sabihin, pag andi dito ka, merong virus na lumilipad, mahahaklap mo, yan po ay iibang virus. Yan yung bacteria na TB, yan po yung measles virus. If you say direct contact through respiratory droplets, either bumahing direkta sa'yo, pumasok sa mata o bunganga mo. O kung pwedeng bumahing ka sa kamay, pagkatapos mong ilagay sa kamay, humawak ka sa doorknob. Umalis ka na, infected ka. Sumunod ako, humawak ako sa doorknob. Kung humawak lang ako sa doorknob, pero hindi ko hinawakan yung mukha ko, yung mata ko at yung bunganga ko, hindi ako mahahawa. Tama po ba?
Tama po, Mr. Speaker.
Pero kung hinawakan ko yung doorknob na hinawakan ng pasyenteng may sakit at hinawakan ko yung aking bunganga, ako ay mahahawa.
Tama po, Mr. Speaker.
Bakit po ba ito nangyayari, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague? Dahil po ang virus ay hindi po tumatagal ng matagal sa environment unless napapasok po sa katawan ng tao o sa katawan ng hayop. In other words, there is no room for panic, but there is room to be vigilant and to know what you should be doing. Babalik po tayo doon. You also mentioned earlier that the Department of Health is doing a good job, especially through its Bureau of Quarantine. And allow me to congratulate the DOH family, whom I just saw are actually at the back. Thank you for coming and helping us again. But you also mentioned the presence of a checklist. Ito po ba ay importante sa panahon na mga ganito? Bakit oo o bakit hindi?
The health declaration checklist na ngayon po, Mr. Speaker, ini-implement nila ay importante sapagkat kailangan natin na alamin, no? Sino-sino doon sa mga individual, no? Particular yung mga pumapasok sa ating bansa ang high risk at walang risk, no? So napakahalaga po na meron po tayong ganitong ipinapatupad sa ngayon na meron po tayong minomonitor na isang hindi makilala na virus.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Department of Health actually abolished the implementation of a health declaration checklist. So ang ibig niyo po ba sabihin is ibinalik na ito dahil nanawagan nga po kami last week na ibalik ito at ang sinabi hindi po siya ibinalik, tinanggal po siya dahil walang gamit. Ano po ba ang totoong sitwasyon?
Mr. Speaker, according to Department of Health representative, sa pangkasulukuyan, ibinalik po yung health declaration checklist. Subalit hindi po sa lahat ng mga flights, no, na pumapasok doon sa ating bansa. Ito ay ginagamit nila sa pangkasulukuyan daw doon sa mga travelers na nanggaling po sa China.
Kailan pa po siya binalik?
According to Department of Health, Mr. Speaker, 2 weeks ago, ibinalik daw po nila itong health declaration checklist.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, distinguished colleague, for that. Nalito lang po kami because when we were being interviewed, the minority was being interviewed last week, nagulat din po nga kami nung ipinaalam sa amin ng ating mga kasamahan sa media na ito ay tinanggal na pala, matagal na, at hindi pa na ibabalik. So, when we inquired, sinabing nawala. So, parang nakakalito po kung binalik 2 weeks, yung sinabi sa amin, wala. But mabuti kung binalik na. That's important. But my point there, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, kung binalik mo lang yung health declaration checklist para sa mga nanggagaling ng China, hindi po ba ito ay isang reactive instead of a preemptive measure? Dahil hindi lang naman po sa China pwedeng manggaling ang virus na ito. Nandiyan na siya sa Amerika, meron na siya sa Japan ba or Taiwan, meron sa Hong Kong. Will the DOH possibly consider bringing back the health declaration checklist that we started before with MERS-CoV, Ebola, and SARS?
Tama po, Mr. Speaker. Actually, kanina napag-usapan din po namin yan. And I think tama lamang na hindi siya sa isang bansa lamang ginagawa or ini-implement kung hindi dahil may 11 countries na confirmed cases ay gawin na siyang parte ng screening ng mga pagpasok po ng lahat po ng travelers.
Yeah. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, the reason why I am personally very particular with the health declaration checklist is because I have been part of the conceptualization of that move. Bakit po namin ginawa yon? You mentioned earlier, Madam Colleague, na meron naman pong thermal scanner, kaya maganda. But on our experience, ang thermal scanner, lagnat lang po ang tinitingnan. At kung ang pasyente dumating na nakainom ng gamot, hindi mo siya madidetect. At yung iba namang hindi nilalagnat, pero may sipon, may ubo, nangihina ang katawan, naging positibo po sa MERS-CoV. in our experience before, the patients who turned out positive for MERS coronavirus did not have fever. What was prominent was actually body malaise. Kaya very particular doon at tinatanong doon, meron ka bang ganitong mga sintomas? Sipon, pananakit ng katawan, ubo, paghihirap ng paghinga, and anything that is checked there, you are led to a lane where a doctor will brief you, bibigyan ka po ng isang number, at araw-araw po yung number na yon, i-text mo kung yung nararamdaman nyo, okay pa ba o hindi na. Pagkatapos mong mag-text doon araw-araw, sasabihin mo rin yung mga lugar na pinupuntahan mo. Because this is a system that was established before but should be brought back now. Hindi nga po siya dapat tinanggal. Kasi tingnan nyo, tinanggal natin. Ngayon, eto na naman tayo. Nagkakandara pa tayo. Why is it important? Because any patient who came into our country na may naramdaman or merong mararamdaman should have a phone number of the specific person in that region. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, the way it works, iba-iba ang contact person sa bawat lugar na pinupuntahan mo. Kunyari, ako ay pupunta ng Boracay, i-inform ko yung quarantine officer, Sir, Doc, I'm now traveling to Boracay. Bibigyan ka ng numero ng tao na ando doon at bibigyan ka ng coordinator doon. Pag pumunta ka naman ng Bohol, ililipat ka sa coordinator na taga Bohol. Pagpunta mo ng Cebu, ando doon ka naman sa Cebu. At anytime na may sintomas ka, that doctor would know which hospital will he or she bring you. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, bakit po ito napaka-importante? Look at what's happening now. Panic texts right and left. Pinapangalanan pa yung mga ospital. Tuloy yung mga pasyente sa loob, instead na nag-ando doon ka para gamutin ka at nakarelax, kinakabahan ka. Dahil marami sa mga hospital na sinabi doon are not referral hospitals because they don't have negative pressure rooms. So may we request, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, through your representation, that first, the Department of Health immediately put back the health declaration checklist all over the country. Second, to immediately call for a command conference and establish the command conference office that you are very much familiar with. Third, the people who have been involved there, whether they have been involved with the vaccination because they're the experts, look them in because you need them most now. They know what to do and you have worked with them. Fourth, update all hospital directors and regional directors so that they will make representations with the governors and mayors in each region para yung mga mayor naman at mga congressman at mga gobernador malaman nila kung nasaan yung negative pressure room. Next, Mr. Speaker, will our distinguished colleagues support the minority? Because earlier we had a meeting and we are actually contemplating, proposing an ordinance making spitting in public a violation with corresponding fines on the first offense, maybe fine plus community work on the second offense, and imprisonment on the third offense.
Thank you for the recommendation, Mr. Speaker. I just want to, of course, I am very supportive, but I just want to inform you that the anti-spitting is part of the Comprehensive Tuberculosis Elimination Plan Act, or 106. I forgot the number of Republic Act, but being
There
the
is a
principal
law
voter-
now that-
Yeah, there's a law now on the anti-spitting. Now, I think, Mr. Speaker, we need to go back to Department of Health if this is being fully implemented or cascaded, that it's actually not allowed.
Yes,
And,
if the IRR, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, is in place, then let's spread that to the police force and the LGUs so that it will be implemented. Kasi sayang naman po ang ginawa ng Kongreso kung yun ando dun lang. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, allow me to thank our colleague who have been very much bent on pushing for public health and, of course, the DOH family. But allow me to mention a very critical person who was with the Department of Health when SARS came. I remember I was not yet with the department. I was an aspiring doctor doing my residency training program at that time nung pumutok yung SARS. At alam ko po hanggang dun sa there was this event kung saan it's a public, para siyang Nazareno na maraming tao. At ando dun yung person na interest, siya po yung nanguna para ikutin lahat yun. When MERS-CoV struck our country and 10 nurses died in Saudi Arabia without the government knowing it and with the Saudi government trying to hide it, siya naman ang nanguna para sugpuin ang MERS coronavirus sa Pilipinas. And when Ebola came, he was also a prominent person because he's a specialist in the Department of Health who has made all these actions and these movements. Unfortunately, in the last hearing we had at Quezon City Regional Trial Court, he succumbed to heart attack because he cannot bear anymore the lambasting at yung mga pambabastos na nakukuha niya simply because he was one of those who initiated the dengue vaccine. With that, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, infections will come and go. New diseases will be discovered right and left. But the memories of Assistant Secretary Lyndon Lee Sui, a specialist who has made his marks in our country and abroad, will never be forgotten. If Lyndon was here today, hindi pa man nagsisimula, na-activate na niya the whole system. And he was very much responsible in putting up all the negative pressure rooms, the biosafety laboratory in RITM, that's Biosafety Lab 3, and all the other infrastructure, preparedness, and human resource training. We hope he is happy now with God, but his legacy should be revived by the Department of Health. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we temporarily suspend the interpellation on the question hour to give way for the calling of the roll of the members.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. Motion is approved.
Mr.
Majority
Speaker,
Leader.
with that, I move that we call the roll of the honorable members. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. Secretary General is hereby directed to call the roll.
Roll call of members. Abante. Abaya. Abellanosa. Abo. Abweg Saldivar. Abunda. Acop. Acosta. Acosta Alba. Adyong. Advincula. Agabas. Agaraw. Aglipay. Aguinaldo. Albano. Almario. Alonte. Alvarez Franz. Alvarez Hinaro. Alvarez Pantaleon. Amanti Matba. Amatong. Andaya. Angara. Aragones. Arbison. Arenas. Arroyo. Atienza. Aumentado. Babasa. Bagatsing. Balindong. Banyas Nograles. Barba. Barbers, Baronda, Barzaga, Baskog, Bautista, Bautista Bandigan, Belmonte, Benitez, Bernos, Biason, Billones, Biron, Bolilla, Bondok, Bordado, Bravo, Brosas, Bulot, Bustos, Kabatbat, Kabuchan, Cabredo, Cagas, Calderon, Calixto, Caminero, Campus, Canama, Kawagdan, Cari, Castelo, Castro Franz, Castro Fredinil, Cayetano Alan Peter, Cayetano Maria Laarni, Celeste, Chato, Chipeco, Chungalao, Co Angelica, Co Elizalde, Co Juanco, Colliantes, Crisólogo, Cuba, Cuaresma, Cueva, Culyamat, Dagook, Dalipe, Dalog, Datol, Daza, De Jesus, De Venecia, Defensor Lawrence, Defensor Michael, Del Mar, De Los Santos, De Los Montalia, Di Mapuro Abdullah, Di Mapuro Muhammad Khalid, Duabit, Duhali, Duterte, Di Faustino Ino, Di Faustino Michael, Di Ian Paul, Ebcas, Icleo, Ilago, Inverga, Irize, Irigel, Ermita Buhain, Escudero, Espina, Espino, Estrella, Fariñas Ria Cristina, Fariñas Rudis Zizar, Fernandez, Fernando, Ferrer Juliet, Ferrer Luis, Flores, Fortun, Fortuno, Frasco, Pentevilla, Gaite, Garbin, Garcia Jose Enrique, Garcia Pablo Jan, Garcia Vincent, Garin Janet, Garin Sharon, Gasataya, Gatchalian, Gato, Heron, Go Ed Christopher, Go Mark, Gonzaga, Gonzales Aurelio, Gonzales Neptali, Gonzales Carlo, Goroseta, Kiko, Gulyas, Guya, Haresco, Hataman, Hernandez, Herrera D, Hoffer, Halosos, Javier, Jimenez, Ko Eliza, Ko Wilton, Kong Hood, Labad-Labad, Lakson, Lakson Noel, Lagman, Lagon, Lara, Lazatin, Lichon, Ligarda, Lim, Lim Kai Chong, Lopez, Loyola, Losotan, Macapagal-Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Mangawang, Mangu Dadato, Marcoleta, Mariano Hernandez, Mariño, Marquez, Martinez, Matba, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado, Momo, Natividad Nagaño, Nava, Nieto, Noel, Nograles Jericho, Nograles Juan Fidel, Nolasco, Núñez Malañaon, Uaminal, Olivares, Ong Jose, Ong Ronnie, Ortega, Juanyo Dizon, Pacquiao Alberto, Pacquiao Rogelio, Padiernos, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panotes, Peña, Ichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Puno, Kimbo, Radaza, Ramirez Sato, Ramos, Remulla, Revilla, Reyes, Rivera, Robes, Rodríguez, Román, Romero, Romualdez Ferdinand, Romualdez Yedamarí, Romualdo, Rómulo, Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salo, Sanchez, Sancopan, Santos Recto, Sarmiento, Saulo, Sabillano, Siao, Silverio, Singson, Singson Mihan, Sinsuat, Swansing Estrelleta, Swansing Horacio, Suarez Aleta, Suarez David, Suntay, Z. Alvarado, Taduran, Talyado, Tambunting, Tan Alisa Sheena, Tan Angelina, Tan Samir, Tan Sharian, Tan Sherni, Tihada, Tebes Arnolpo, Tebes Jose, Chanco, Tolentino, Torres Gomez, Tulfo, Tupas, Tutor, P. Alan, P. Diego, Umali Alfonso, Umali Maria Victoria, Unabia, Ungab, Uy Juliet, Oy Rolando, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Viloso, Vergara, Villa, Villafuerte, Villanueva Eduardo, Villanueva Noel, Villar, Villareasa Suarez, Villarica, Violago, Yap Eric, Yap Victor, Yu, Zamora Ronaldo, Zamora Waikurat, Sarate, Subiri. Mr. Speaker, the roll call shows that 239 members responded to the call.
With 239 members responding to the call, the chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize the guests of Honorable Speaker Alan Peter Compañero Cayetano. They are the freshman students of AB Political Science from San Beda University, Manila. Namely, Danilyn Gaitos, Debbie Andrade, Jennifer Poblar, Christine Aguilar, Gianna Faye Suerte, Julene Alia Legutan, Eliza Takduro, Ervin Benitez, Gabriela Francine Patag, Ron Asil Trias, Glory Verdad, Carl Martin Uy, Aden Vincent Reyes, Nor Eliza Lumabaw. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
To the guest of Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano, please rise. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, in addition, I move to recognize the guests of the Honorable Francisco Gamboa Dato Jr. from San Agustin Academy, was 1965, from Jaén Nueva Ecija, namely Nestor de Luna, Blanquita Trinidad, Guadalupe Varon, Rosario Palanca, Vladimir Esquivel, Sayas Arrieta, Agapito Lores, and Rosalia Arrieta. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
To the guest of Representative Francisco Datol, welcome to the House of Representatives.
Mr. Speaker, before we continue, may we also acknowledge the guests of the distinguished gentleman representing the TGP party list, Congressman Jose Bong Teves Jr., the Honorable Wencerom Lagumbay, Councilor of the 3rd District of Quezon City, as well as the Councilor of 2nd District Marikina City, Councilor Mark Del Rosario, and the Kagawad of Barangay Escuapa 1 from the 3rd District of Quezon City, Kagawad Dong Makabata.
To the guest of Honorable Bong Teves, please rise. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we resume the interpellation on the question of privilege delivered by the Honorable Angelina Tan. And with that, I move that we recognize the Honorable Arlene Brosas to deliver her interpellation. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. Motion is approved. Honorable Arlene Brosas is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, ilan lamang pong katanungan para sa ating sponsor. Madam Sponsor, maaari po ba?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Sa gitna po ng coronavirus na issue na ito, we can't help but ask, ilan lang pong mga precise na katanungan, ano? Kasi unang-una po, nais naming tanungin kung yung health department natin ngayon, the DOH itself, at yung iba pang mga ahensya sa gobyerno ay may capability para mag-screen ng potential coronavirus carriers.
Mr. Speaker, yun po ang isa sa dahilan no, kung bakit po natin ginawa itong ating talumpati upang alamin sa ating Secretary of Health, Secretary Duque, yung kahandaan. But sa pangkasalukuyan, as I mentioned earlier, ang nagagawa lang ay tingnan no, through the declarations of suspected patients, yung kalagayan nila, yung common symptoms, at yung definitive means of diagnosis ay ipadala sa ibang bansa. So yung definite diagnosis, wala po tayo. But on the screening, I believe meron po tayo na kapasidad as of the moment po. Yes.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, kaya po natin tinatanong to. Iba't ibang entry points po ang meron tayo sa Pilipinas. Kung screening po ay wala tayo, medyo nakakabahala po yun. Ano? Plus, kung screening pa lang yon ng potential, paano pa po kaya yung capability to track and effectively repel the coronavirus outbreak? Yun po yung tinatanong natin. Kaya bukod sa screening, at every point, entry point, alam niyo po yun kasi marami tayong paliparan maraming paraan kung paano papasok yung iba't ibang mga may nasyonalidad. Well, especially sa China, mula sa China na alam natin na maluwag na nakakapasok dito sa Pilipinas. So, kung sa screening, kailangan pong magkaroon talaga ng effective information dissemination ng DOH kaugnay dito at ng iba pang ahensya para mas maunawaan o maintindihan ng ating mga kababayan yung kinakaharap na coronavirus, new strain of coronavirus na ito.
Mr. Speaker, sa pangkasalukuyan, yes po, all means of entry po ay meron pong nakatalaga ang Department of Health. Pagdating po dito, naka-alerto din po ang lahat ng mga health facilities po natin. And doon po sa concern ng other agencies, yung ginagampanan na trabaho dapat o participation of other agencies, ang meron pong interagency high-level meeting, I think, today or early this morning. Sila ay nagko-coordinate with each other on the preventive measures on coronavirus.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, Madam Sponsor, nung nakaraan po kaya ko ito itinatanong, it has to do with the allocation for the Epidemiology and Disease Surveillance Program for our 2020 General Appropriations Act. Kaya ko po tinatanong, ano ang ginagamit na pondo sa kasalukuyan kung ito ay inislash ng 56% last time. Ngayon po ay meron lang tayong 115.5 million na para sa pagdetermine, pagkilala or yung ina-allocate para sa epidemiology and disease surveillance. Hindi pa po tayo nag-uusap ng kung magkano ang gagamitin kapag na-track at paano ang pag-repel ng coronavirus outbreak dahil kailangan po yung paghandaan. Hindi naman po natin sinasabi na magkalat tayo ng fake news. Ang sinasabi lang po natin dito, gaano kahanda ang gobyerno natin para i-tackle ito.
Mr. Speaker, ang Department of Health po ay meron tinatawag na Emerging and Re-emerging Disease Program Budget o tinatawag nila ito na IRED, no? At ito po ay may pondo, no? At sa pangkasalukuyan, yun po ang kanilang kinukuhaan ng pondo. Sa taong 2020, for this year po, meron silang mahigit 35 million all in all na budget. Bukod po doon, meron silang QRF available fund na pinagkukunan din, which is about 100 million.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, Madam Sponsor, gusto ko rin sabihin na actually yung allocation kasi natin na mas malaki, lalo na dito sa Department of Health, nasa PhilHealth, di ba? Sa 71.35 billion ang budget natin na nakalagak sa Philippine Health Insurance Corporation. Samantala, meron tayong mga kinakaharap na ganito, nag-budget cut pa tayo sa ibang mga tingin namin ay necessary, no? Na dapat binudgetan pa natin. Plus, meron po tayong nakalagak na 36 billion mula sa National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict o NTF-ELCAC na supposedly nakalagak din sa iba't ibang ahensya. 36 billion po yun, black fund. Wala tayong itemized na kung saan gagamitin. Kundi ang nakikita po namin ngayon ay ang pag-continue ng pagkriminalisa sa dissent at paghaharas ng mga critics mismo sa gobyerno habang humaharap tayo sa matinding issue ng kailangan nating maging precise kung saan natin nilalagay yung budget natin. Dito po, lumalabas yung screening, saka yung meron naman tayong pinagkukunan ngayon. Pero yung paghahanda pa sa mga susunod, meron po ba tayong tiyak na mapagkukunan ng pondo para dyan?
Ayon po sa Department of Health, ang pinagkukunan doon sa mga susunod pa na pangangailangan, no? Concerning this NCOV ay yung QRF nila. As mentioned earlier, yung 100 million.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, Madam,
Maidagdag ko lang po, Mr. Speaker, na maaari naman na humingi ang Department of Health ng karagdagang pondo, no, for emergency response na kukulangin pa doon sa kinakailangan na pondo.
So, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, maraming salamat po sa pagsagot kaugnay doon. Ang inaalala po ng kinatawan na ito ay siyempre matiyak, no, yung safety ng ating mga kababayan plus makapagbigay ng mga tamang impormasyon sa ating mga kababayan na hindi sila matakot, magkaroon ng panic, yun nga yung sinasabi ngayon, samantalang yung mga cases ay ganito pa lang, maipaliwanag natin sa kanila ng mabuti. At kung ngayon po, kinakailangan nga, sabi ko nga kanina, yung information dissemination, kailangan effectively po ito ma-address ng, of course, hindi lang ng Department of Health, kundi ng iba't ibang ahensya sa ating gobyerno. Maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker and distinguished colleague.
Thank you. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, next to interpolate the Honorable Speaker is the Honorable Rufy Biazon.
The Honorable Biazon is recognized for his interpellation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With a distinguished gentle lady, yield to some questions.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, my distinguished colleague. Last January 22, this representation sent a letter to the Civil Aeronautics Administration of the Philippines to suggest that flights, direct flights coming from Wuhan to Manila or to the Philippines be suspended. And of course, the reply was that did not have that direct authority and that they had to consult with other concerned agencies, which is very understandable. Although that was a bit of a concern to this representation because the 2019 NCOV issue had already been brewing since early December. And I guess that was not misplaced. That concern was not misplaced because the following day, Wuhan itself went into a shutdown. So it did not require for the government to suspend flights because on its own, Wuhan city was locked down. And then this morning, as I was browsing through the news, I came upon this news item which says, and I quote on CNN Philippines, Immigration Commissioner Jaime Morente clarifies that there's no order barring Chinese nationals to enter the Philippines. But the Bureau of Immigration suspended the issuance of visa upon arrival, and it is meant to, quote, prevent the entry of the Wuhan coronavirus. So, now, sa pagkaunawa po natin, pipigilan nila ang pagpasok ng certain nationals. This was at 10:54 a.m. At 12:39, another news item came out which says, Bureau of Quarantine okays arrival of China and Hong Kong cruise ships in Manila. So, dalawang vapor po yun ng mga turista na pinayagan naman pumasok. The point I'm driving at, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, is that there seems to be a disconnect among agencies. While we were expecting that there would be a more proactive stance with regard to the entry of nationals, especially coming from Wuhan, I was surprised to find out that that's not even one flight, but 3 destinations direct from Wuhan into Calibo, Wuhan to Clark, Wuhan to Cebu, which provided a wide open gateway. We were just fortunate enough that Wuhan by itself initiated the lockdown. And this disconnect between the position of the BID and the position of the Bureau of Quarantine. May I know, Mr. Speaker, my distinguished colleague, what is the measure that has been taken by the DOH, which I assume DOH is the lead agency, in ensuring that the interagency cooperation and coordination is made certain in the face of this threat of a highly contagious epidemic?
Mr. Speaker, currently I think the DOH is in coordination with other agencies. In fact, I was informed that the Secretary of Health was with the other secretaries. It's a high-level meeting. There's a high-level meeting this morning to discuss the travel restrictions. Yun po yung concern ninyo na katanungan, which I think ay maaaring sagutin ng ating mga namumuno ng ahensya sa panahon na atin po silang ipapatawag.
Nung isang araw din po, meron akong nabasang balita na nakipagpulong naman ang ating Secretary ng Health sa Department of Foreign Affairs, presumably to talk about Filipinos living abroad and possibly how to repatriate them. Again, surprisingly, nagkaroon lang ng meeting na yon, ilang araw pa lamang nakakaraan, pero medyo matagal na nating alam na may pumuputok na paglaganap ng sakit sa ibang bansa. And particularly yung sa Wuhan. Yung nabanggit ko nga, January 22 yung sulat ko. January 23, sinabi ng Wuhan, shutdown kami. But then nag-usap lang yung DOH at saka DFA parang 2 days ago with regard to the problem of Filipinos who are there, about 50 of them. So there is this impression that we are just reactive to this kind of a threat to public health, which is spreading very fast. Bakit po kaya gano'n? Yun po bang pag-meeting na nabanggit ninyo, biglaan na rin lang ho ba yan, in reaction to a certain condition?
Mr. Speaker, hindi ko po masagot ng katanungan directly ng ating honorable colleague. But naniniwala po ako na ang mga high-level meeting na ginanap ngayong umaga ay pagtugon sa mga lumalabas na problema. No? At yun din po ang dahilan kung kaya nga po tayo talumpati ngayong umaga to clarify all our questions to the executive head no, ng different agencies.
My distinguished colleague is a doctor by profession. And I'm pretty sure that she will agree that things like this is something that we can expect to happen again in the future. In 2003, we had SARS. Later on, we had MERS-CoV and some other highly infectious diseases. And now we have 2019 nCoV. So somewhere in the future, there will be another contagion that will come in. Pero bakit po parang kahit na may experience tayo dati, parang ganun nga, reactionary tayo ngayon? How can this be explained by the DOH?
Mr. Speaker, according to DOH, actually, I don't know if that's the right term to use, being reactionary on the situation, but they told me that the guidelines they were using right now were the experiences or the guidelines that they used during the MERS-CoV and the SARS-CoV situation. So somehow, Mr. Speaker, yung karanasan naman noong MERS-CoV and SARS ay nagagamit sa pangkasalukuyan pong sitwasyon.
May nabanggit po kanina sa inyong lingkod yung mga taga-DOH na meron na ho silang binuo na task force. Pwede lang po ba malaman kung ano ho yung basehan ng pagbuo ng task force na yun?
Mr. Speaker, according to Department of Health representative, they're using draft DPO, Department Order, on the task force within DOH.
Tama po ba yung pagkarinig ko, draft Department Order?
Mr. Speaker, I'm sorry, but I think I'm wrong on using the draft. But they said there's a department order, unsigned department order. So they're using the ACS. Okay, there's an administrative order on the incident command system that they're using right now.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, I do not wish to prolong the questions anymore. I know that tomorrow I know that there is a call for the Secretary of Health to appear before Congress and respond to questions. I'm just putting these issues on the record so that perhaps it can be taken up during that time that we can ask questions to the Secretary of Health. But before I end, Mr. Speaker, let me just point out to our colleagues from the Department of Health that while we speak of an unsigned department order to trigger the task force, there is an Executive Order 168, Series of 2014, which creates an interagency task force for the Management of Emerging and Infectious Diseases in the Philippines, issued by the President of the Republic. So when I asked what the basis of the task force that was being created, there is mention of an unsigned department order wherein we could have very well cited this executive order.
Mr. Speaker, I was just informed just now that it is already signed by the Secretary. It's Department Order 2020-00224.
Well, it's been signed, but as I again point out, there is already an existing executive order. We probably did not have to have that department order. And in this executive order, there is even that mandate to create an EID, or Emerging Infectious Diseases Preparedness Manual. Now, I don't know if it is already if they already have that document. Perhaps the good secretary can respond tomorrow. But in closing, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, we do need to prepare for the future because it will happen again. We know that for a fact. And we just want to see government being able to respond, if possible, right at the moment that the issue or the public health threat it comes upon us. We do hope that we would be more proactive in dealing with these serious matters. Thank you very much, my distinguished colleague, and thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to the Rule 17, Section 124 of the Rules of the House, I move that the Department of Health Secretary Francisco T. Duque III be requested to appear before the House of Representatives under the question hour. With leave of the House, I further move that the said question hour be held tomorrow, January 29, 2020, at the plenary hall to answer questions from the members of the House of Representatives pertaining to the measures being undertaken by the Department of Health on the threat of the novel coronavirus in the country.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. DOS Secretary Duque is hereby requested to appear before the House of Representatives under the question hour to be held tomorrow, January 29, 2020, at the plenary hall.
Mr.
Majority
Speaker,
Leader.
may we remind the members of the standard set for questions pursuant to Section 128 of the same rule.
The remarks of the Majority Leader are duly noted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we include additional co-authors to House Bill numbers 137, 424, 425, 497, 510, 656, 1079, 1497, 3029, 3119, 5083, 5422, 5777, 5793, 5829, 5869, 5887, 5889, 5890, 5891, 5892, 5912, 5919, 5920, 5921, 5925, 5944, 5945, and 5955, and House Resolution numbers 423, 510, 630, 631, 632, 633, and 634, as contained in the list to be submitted by the Committee on Rules. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize the guest of the Honorable Sabiniano S. Canama of the NATCO party list, namely Dr. Garibaldi Leonardo, Mr. Edwin Bustillos, Ms. Silo Garrido, Mr. Wilbur C., Mr. Bernard Yu, Ms. Shindolfo, Ms. Esperanza Ocampo, Ms. Raquel Aquino, Mr. Oliver Casajeros, Ms. Imelda de la Cruz, Mr. Philemon Espares, Ms. Luz Irinco, Dr. Marlene Gukon, Mr. Chito Sandino, Ms. Seni Enubados, Mr. Honorato Vacal Jr., Mr. Edgar Bayano, Angel Romeo Manzano, Dr. Emma Nieva, Mr. Antonio Aranas, Mr. Francisco Jose, Mr. Rolando Badja, Pastor Marlon Magno, Mr. Ray Trinidad, and Mr. Juju Itang. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Guests of Rep. Kanama, please rise. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider House Bill number 5422 under Committee Report number 133 and request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the said measure. So move, Mr. Speaker.
The Secretary General is so directed.
House Bill number 5422, an act declaring the month of October of every year as the National Cooperative Month in the entire country.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the parliamentary status of the House Bill is that we're in the period of sponsorship and debate. And to deliver the sponsor, I move that we call the Chairman of the Cooperatives Development, the Honorable Sabiano Kanama. So moved,
The
Mr.
Honorable Subihano Kanama is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my distinguished colleagues. This bill seeks to declare the month of October of every year as the National Cooperative Month in the country. The primary objective of every cooperative is to help improve the quality of life of its members and the communities. Cooperatives provide assistance, trainings, and services to augment the income of their members, increase their savings, and widen their investments, productivity, and purchasing power. Cooperatives also teach their members in propagating cooperative practices and introducing new ideas in business management. Cooperatives are significant contributors to the Philippine economy. In fact, they serve as instruments in promoting social justice and economic development. They contribute to economic growth through mobilization of savings and by providing capital. They also provide access to goods and services to the less privileged members of the society. On November 29, 2003, President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo issued Proclamation number 493 entitled Declaring the Month of October and every year thereafter as Cooperative Month to encourage wider participation of all sectors in nation building through cooperativism. Mr. Speaker, my distinguished colleagues, to give it a more permanent status, however, this bill seeks to declare the month of October in every year as National Cooperative Month to raise the consciousness of the people on the principles and values of cooperatives and encourage them to join the cooperative movement. In view of the foregoing, approval of this bill is earnestly sought. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no members who wishes to interpolate on the author, I move that we close the period of sponsorship and debate.
Any objection? The Chair hears none. Motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of amendments.
Any objection? The Chair hears none. The motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, there being no individual amendments nor committee amendments, I move that we close the period of amendments.
Any objection? The Chair hears none. Motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve on second reading House Bill number 5422 under Committee Report number 133. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Those who are in favor of the said bill, says aye.
Aye.
Those who are against, says nay. The ayes have it. House Bill 5422, an act declaring the month of October of every year as the National Cooperative Month in the entire country, is approved on second reading. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider House Bill number 5829 under Committee Report number 140 and request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the said measure. So
The
moved, Mr.
Secretary
Speaker.
General is so directed.
House Bill number 5829, an act institutionalizing values education in the curriculum by incorporating good manners and right conduct as a subject in kindergarten up to grade 3.
Mr. Speaker, to deliver the sponsorship speech, I move that we recognize the Chairman of the Basic Education, the Honorable Roman Romulo of the Lone District of Pasig City. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Roman Romulo is recognized for his sponsorship speech.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Majority Leader. To the honorable members of this Congress, we have the honor to ask for your support for House Bill number 5829, which is an act to institutionalize good manners and right conduct in our basic education. Mr. Speaker, to summarize, the bill actually wishes to instill in kinder to grade 3 that now we require the DepEd to require all our schools to teach good manners and right conduct. Currently, they have a subject called ESP, but the subject itself is being taught in a theoretical manner, meaning definitions are taught and memorized. What we want and what we have put in this bill is that the teaching of good manners and right conduct be also actual and situational, so that the learners from kinder to grade 3 will be able to imbibe properly the lessons for the day. Mr. Speaker, members of this Congress, we always hear nowadays that technology is moving quite fast, and that we hear a lot of parents and teachers saying that most of our learners are being influenced by technology advancements, including social media. The committee believes that the institutionalization of this good manners and right conduct will provide a balance so that our learners from kinder to grade 3 at that prime age will be able to realize the proper conduct and patriotism and love for country. Mr. Speaker, I endeavor and I wish that the members of this chamber earnestly support this bill and that we pass this immediately so that by the next academic calendar, we can have this good manners and right conduct as a subject from kinder to grade 3. Mr. Speaker, may I also move? There are a lot of authors of various measures, all dealing with good manners in and right conduct. In fairness and courtesy to all the members who have filed bills, I also ask that the explanatory note of each member who has filed a bill be made part of the records of this plenary. I so request, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I join the author and request that the explanatory note of all the other authors be made as part of the sponsorship speech.
Any objection? The chair says none. The motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, there being no members who wishes to interpolate on the said measure, I move that we close the period of sponsorship and debate. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Any objection? The chair hears none. Motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of amendments.
Any objection? The chair hears none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no individual members nor committee amendments, I move that we close the period of amendments.
Any objection? The chair hears none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve on second reading House Bill number 5829 under Committee Report number 140. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
All those who are in favor of of this bill, say aye.
Aye.
Those who are against, say nay. The ayes have it. House Bill 5829 is approved on second reading. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend session for a few minutes.
Session is suspended. Huh? Interpellation. Ano, no? Hindi, dalawa man to.
Ganito.
Say aye. Those who are against, say nay.
So, ang gagawin mo, right, ang gagawin mo, Mr. Speaker, I move that we reconsider. Continue consideration.
Wala naman mag-committee report.
Ayun na lang. Are you sure? Pinapahanap. Give me, ano lang, give me 2 minutes.
Oo, siya.
Sasabihin natin, I move that we continue consideration of House Bill 5829. Request the Secretary General be directed to read the title. Ito yan. Parang wala akong tiwala. Pero sinortcut ko na lang.
Gagawin daw kasi gagawin.
Yan. We resume consideration. Hindi, huwag na mo. Diretso na lang. Move that we resume consideration. Yes. Finish the session. Pwede rin, basahin mo na lang. Pwede rin, basahin mo na lang para siya. Tapos yun, itong submitted ng committee, wag na to. Ito, please, 5 minutes out. Tapos, under committee report, pero ngayon, and then, sabi ko, committee report, tapos yung submitted by the committee report. Tapos, i-recognize mo yung sponsor.
Binigyan namin more.
Yan. Itong dalawa. Okay? So after this, ito. Tapos pag na-recognize na siya,
And I'll give you a report, pa-summarize ko lang yung outcome ng trip namin.
ayaw naman ito. Mali ko na lahat. Nandyan siya sa mga. Labang sponsor. Alin ito? Si Marvin Marie. Marvin Marie. So, Marvin Marie. Great. Marvin, ito. Marvin Marie, mahaba pa ka na. Marvin.
Session resumed.
Mr. Speaker, I
Majority.
move that we consider House Bill number 5869 under Committee Report number 158 and request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measure. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
The Secretary General is so directed.
House Bill number 5869, an act defining electronic violence against women and their children, providing protective measures and prescribing penalties for violations thereof, amending for the purpose Republic Act number 9262, otherwise known as the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Act of 2004.
Mr.
Majority Leader.
Speaker, to deliver the sponsorship, I move that we recognize the Honorable Chairwoman of the Women and Gender Equality, the Honorable Mariludes Acosta Alba. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Acosta Alba is recognized for her sponsorship speech.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to move that the explanatory note of House Bill 5869 be adopted as my sponsorship speech. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I join the Honorable Author and move that the explanatory note be made as the sponsorship speech. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Any objection? The Chair hears none. Motion is approved.
Mr.
Majority.
Speaker, there being no members who wishes to interpolate on the author, I move that we close the period of sponsorship and debate.
Any objection? The Chair hears none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of amendments.
Any objection? The Chair hears none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no individual or committee amendments, I move that we close the period of amendments.
Any objection? The Chair hears none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve on second reading House Bill number 5869 under Committee Report number 158. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Those who are in favor say nay. Say ayes.
Aye.
Those who are against say nay. The ayes have it. House Bill 5869 is approved on second reading. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend session for a few minutes.
Session suspended. Ano?
With consent. With consent. Sana, hindi ko, hindi, ibaw, hindi, ang sa akin, ibaw lang. Ibaw. Hindi kasama, kasama ako.
Hindi. Secretary.
Wala ko ka-members. Ipasok mo ako. Ipapasok sa homesick, sabihan ako. Author says pero di ba dapat hindi lang sa women? Oo, ba yun? Ito women and children. Hindi kasi alam mo, more than the women, mas affected.
Session resumed.
Mr. Speaker, I move that
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we resume consideration of House Bill number 5832 under Committee Report number 142, and for this purpose, may I ask that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill. So
The
moved.
Secretary General is so directed.
House Bill number 5832, an act creating the Department of Filipinos Overseas and Foreign Employment, defining its mandate, powers, and functions, appropriating funds therefore.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the gentleman from 5th District of Batangas, the Honorable Marvy Marino. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Marino is recognized for his sponsorship speech.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize the Honorable Congresswoman Alburz for her interpellation.
Honorable Brosas is recognized for her interpellation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, ginong sponsor, maaari po bang magtanong ng ilan lamang kaugnay sa bill na lumilikha ng Department of Overseas Filipino Workers?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, ginong sponsor, bago natin pag-usapan ang detalye ng ipinapanukalang Department of Overseas Filipino Workers, mainam na mailatag muna natin kung ano ba sa aktwal ang batayan ng panukalang ito at kung saang direksyon natin gusto dalhin ang mga kababayan natin, lalo na ang mga kababaihang Pilipino. Sa bahagi po namin sa Gabriela Women's Party, napakahalaga na mailinaw, lalo-lalo na mahigit kalahati o 55% ng mahigit 10 milyong OFWs sa iba't ibang sulok ng daigdig ay mga kababaihan. Isa po sa mga sinasabing batayan ng pagtutulak ng pagbuo ng Department of OFW ay ang Global Compact for Safe, Orderly, and Regular Migration na pinirmahan noong July 11, 2018. Tama po ba, ginong sponsor?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Ginong sponsor, may provision po sa Global Compact under Objective 2, kaugnay ng pag-minimize ng adverse drivers and structural factors that compel people to leave their country of origin. Kumbaga, tumutukoy po ito sa push factors, kaugnay ng migration gaya ng kahirapan at kawalan ng trabaho sa ating bayan, na dapat ay komprehensibong tugunan. Ngayon, mistulang taliwas po sa diwa ng Objective 2 ng Global Compact o na ang House Bill 5832 o yung bill na lumilika ng Department of Overseas Filipino Workers, itong panukala na ito, dahil ilan sa mga layunin ng panukala bukod sa paglikha ng bagong ahensya ay mula po dun sa bill mismo, Section 5, Letter N, line 34, ang nakalagay po doon ay provide job matching services to the public with the view of promoting global competitiveness of the Filipino. Pangalawa po, sa Section 5, Section 5S, line 16, assist in the professionalization, training, and capacity building of private recruitment agencies. Mr. Speaker, ginong sponsor, ano pong ibig sabihin? Bakit merong mga section kung saan sinasabi pa or nag-view pa ito ng future, no? Na dapat may matching services to the public, pag-promote ng global competitiveness, tapos meron pang professionalization, training, capacity building para sa mga mismong private recruitment agencies. Mr. Speaker, ginong sponsor.
Mr. Speaker, unang-una doon po sa mga recruitment agencies. Siyempre po, dapat naman po talaga ay merong proper briefing, training dun sa mga practices ng tamang pagre-recruit. Dahil marami naman po talagang nangyayari ng mga underage or illegal recruitment na nangyayari sa ating bansa. At hindi naman po ibig sabihin ay kailangan natin silang i-train, ay pinopromote na natin na paalisin ang ating mga kababayan. Hindi po yan yung hangad. Ang hangad lang po natin ay recognize po natin na marami ang nagtatrabaho sa ibang bansa at yan naman po ay karapatan nila bilang para sila'y pumili ng kanilang mga opportunities. Nasabi po kanina, nasa 10 million po ang ating Filipino overseas workers. So, ito pong kinecreate na departamento na ito ay tugon lamang sa mga pangangailangan ng ating mga kababayan. Pero hindi po natin pinopromote na sila ay paalisin. Ang ginagawa nga po natin, katulad nung job matching, ay kung sino po yung mga nasa abroad, ay dapat po yung job matching ay yung mga available na natrabaho dito sa ating bansa upang sa gayon sila ay makabalik. At yun po ang hangad ng ibang provision dun sa section na nabanggit kanina ng ating kasama, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, Ginoong Sponsor, binabanggit niyo po na ito ay hindi necessary, no? Sabi niyo na paglo-look forward sa pagmamigrate o pagkakaroon pa ng trabaho sa labas ng bansa. Pero alam niyo po na ilan sa mga problemang hinaharap ng mga Filipino migrant workers natin ay yung mga private recruitment agencies mismo nila, 'di ba? May mga example po tayo diyan ng matitinding pang-aabuso na hinaharap ng mga workers natin. Actually, yun po yung kailangan tugunan na problema eh. Doon dapat mag-respond. Hindi po doon sa mas lalo pang pagtitrain, pagpaprofessionalize, pagbibuild ng capacity ng mismong private recruitment agencies para pong sinabi na natin na iengganyo pa natin lalo na magkaroon ng mga ganitong ahensya. Mr. Speaker, Ginoong Sponsor.
Mr. Speaker, ang ibig sabihin po ng professionalized and yung ating recruitment agencies ay parang nga po maiwasan yung mga illegal recruitments. At kaya po natin na pinoprofessionalize yan ay marami po ang mga nagva-violate sa mga batas dahil alam naman po natin na yan ay market-driven. Malaki po ang kinikita ng mga recruitment agencies. Bawat isang tao na mapaalis nila. Ang sinasabi po natin ay nangyayari talaga yung recruitment. But kaya po natin dapat may saayos na tama naman dapat ang pagre-recruit. Ibig sabihin ay hindi labag sa batas. Yun po ang ibig sabihin ng mga trainings na ginagawa ukol doon sa mga recruitment agencies.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, Ginoong Sponsor, magbigay lang po ako ng isang halimbawa ng kung paano yung mga private agencies pa yung mismong lumalabag no, sa karapatan ng ating mga migrant workers. Yung 10 days, 11 days bago mo makuha yung bangkay ng migrant worker, usually po ang sinasabi nila, kapag nagkakaproblema na ganyan, kailangan munang magpaalam doon sa recruitment agencies at saka yun po yung nirereklamo ng mga regular na migrant workers natin. At hindi po yun na re-respondehan ng mabuti ng mga ahensya, no? Kahit po ng DFA at saka ng DOLE, kasi may mga halimbawa po ang mga kababayan natin na 10, 11 days bago nakaka-responde yung mga ahensya. Hindi po ba yun dapat yung asikasuhin? Hindi pa yung capacity building at parang nagbigay pa tayo ng mas lalong leeway para sa mga private recruitment agencies na lumawak or dumami? Mr. Speaker, ginoong sponsor.
Well, Mr. Speaker, ang gaya po na sabi ko kanina, ang training po doon sa mga recruitment agencies ay to ensure that they are compliant with the ethical standards at saka capacity building din po ito. But syempre, yung sinasabi pong mga issues na nagpapaalam pa bago ma-ship yung mga labi ng mga namamatay na overseas workers, ayan po ay depende doon sa pagpaprocess at batas ng host country. Lahat naman po ito ay kaya nga po natin kine-create yung departamento ay para iisa na lamang yung department na mag-iintindi ng lahat ng mga issues na ito. Sa ngayon po siguro, dahil marami yung mga coordination with the different agencies, bureaus, dyan po nadidelay din siguro. Hindi naman po siguro kaila sa atin na ang lahat pong ito ay coordinating with each other pag may mga problema. Pero pag na-create po ang departamento na ito, ay isa lamang yung secretary, isa lamang ang boss nila, at mas lalong mabilis yung kanilang pag-action sa mga nabanggit po ng ating kasamahan regarding dun sa mga problema, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, ginoong sponsor, hindi ba't nangangahulugan ito ng i-institutionalisa o pagtitibay sa pag-export ng mga manggagawang Pilipino bilang opisyal na patakaran ng Estado? Paano magiging totoo yung sinasabi na migration should never be an act, choice kung magiging instrument ang ahensya sa pag-supply ng lakas paggawa sa ibang bansa, habang hindi naman natutugunan ang kawalan ng trabaho dito mismo sa ating bayan. So sa halip po na tulungan ang mga private recruitment agencies sa ngalan ng professionalization at capacity building, mas mainam kung ang magiging direksyon ay ang pagpapanagot ng mga recruiter na sangkot sa mga kaso ng trafficking, karahasan at abuso sa ating mga kababayan, lalo na sa mga kababaihan. Hindi pa po ako pumupunta sa structure sa secretary, sa pagsama-samahin, na ang tinatanong ko pa lang po ay yung kaugnay sa eto nga pong private recruitment agencies na professionalization at capacity building ang sinasabi natin, samantalang hindi tayo makapagpanagot ng mga recruiter na sangkot sa mga kaso ng trafficking, karahasan, or hindi. Marami pa rin tayong mga cases na hindi tayo nakakapagpanagot ng mga recruiter na sangkot nga sa kaso ng trafficking, karahasan at abuso sa ating mga kababayan, lalo na sa mga kababaihan. Perfect example po nito si Villavende, kamakailan, na isang case ng mula sa Kuwait ay dinala ang kanyang bangkay dito sa Pilipinas. Tapos, ayon nga sa NBI, ay matindi yung kinaharap niya na abuso doon sa bansang Kuwait. Mr. Speaker, ginoong sponsor.
Well, again, when we look at the policy, Mr. Speaker, ang polisiya po natin hinggil sa migration ay personal choice po yan ng ating mga kababayan. And ginagawan lang po natin ng paraan na sila ay mapangalagaan sa pag-create ng departamento na ito. Alam po natin na merong mga problema sa ngayon sa mga ahensya kung paano tutulungan, gaya ng nabanggit na kaso, but that is included in the mandate of this department. Kasama po yan sa mandato. In fact, one of the undersecretaries, specifically the Undersecretary for Foreign Employment, is the one in charge of the regulation of the recruitment agencies, and they have quasi-judicial functions as well. So, kaya nga po kailangan dumaan sila sa proseso para nga maiwasan yung mga hindi sumusunod sa mga polisiya Yun po ang ibig sabihin nung nagkakaroon tayo ng polisiya regarding the recruitment agencies.
Mr. Speaker, ginong sponsor, isa-cite ko po ulit yung sa Global Compact on Migration. Na ito ay isang blueprint or neoliberal blueprint to uphold migration as a tool for development. Instead of charting a path for genuine reintegration through national industrialization, addressing economic issues like contractualization, depressed wages, and soaring prices of goods, and the lack of quality and affordable social services in order to stop the massive outward migration of Filipinos. Sinasabi ko po na dapat ito po yung mga inaasikaso ng ating gobyerno para masabi natin kung talagang may free choice yung mga tao, hindi talaga sila pupunta sa ibang bansa kasi meron tayong nare-resolve natin yung mga issues na ito. Hindi rin ang gobyerno mag-stick sa approach na magkaroon ng loan offers sa mga OFWs at magkaroon ng mga state exaction fees na tumutulong daw sa ekonomiya natin, pero hindi tayo nakakapag-develop ng local industries at hindi natin napaprioritize ang local employment natin. Kaya contradictory po ito sa sinasabi na we are serving the needs of our OFWs. Mr. Speaker, ginong sponsor.
Mr. Speaker, ang departamento po ito ay merong programa sa mga OFWs na magbabalik sa ating bansa. Hindi naman po ibig sabihin sila ay pinaalis bilang policy. In fact, kasama rin po sa mandate ng departamento na ito kung ano yung pwede nilang gawin as far as yung mga pagbabalik, mga programa na pagbalik ng ating mga kababayan, kasama po dito sa departamento na ito. Kaya nga po ito ay makikreate ay para ma-streamline yung mga proseso para sila ay makabalik agad na meron silang trabaho. I also mentioned earlier that this job matching capabilities ng departamento na ito ay upang malaman din. For example, Mr. Speaker, ang kontrata ng isang manggagawa ay 1 taon. Dapat bago pa matapos ang kanilang kontrata ay sila ay binibigyan na ng pagkakataon na makapili. Gaya po ng isang programa ngayon dun sa mga teachers ay bibigyan po sila ng item ng ating gobyerno, pero ito po ay hinahanda bago po matapos ang kanilang mga kontrata. So yun po yung kagustuhan natin mangyari sa pag-create ng departamento na ito. Again, it is not a policy. I understand the global migration is a strategy, a global strategy, but it doesn't prevent a country for any country to act on the situation, in which case ang sitwasyon po natin sa ating bansa ngayon ay napakadami ang gusto magtrabaho abroad. Hindi naman po natin sila pinadala doon, sila po ay kusang nagtrabaho doon. Ang ating pong trabaho, ang ating pong gustong mangyari ay sila ay bumalik with a set of skills na kanilang natutunan abroad. In fact, I am an example of an OFW who worked in the States for 10 years. Ako po ay nagtrabaho 10 taon, ako po ay nag-aral, at yung aking pong nalalaman ay ngayon ay naitulong ko. Ako po ay nakabalik dito, naitulong ko po sa ating bansa. Yun po ang pananaw siguro na dapat tingnan natin sa kabuuan. Maaring nag-abroad po ang ating mga kasamahan, but let's look at it as if they will come back on a later date. Wala naman pong OFW na gusto nang magtrabaho habang buhay sa ibang bansa. Lahat po yan ay gustong bumalik, one way or the other. In fact, yung pong mga nag-migrate na sa ibang bansa, particularly the United States and Canada, sila po ay meron din tayong programa na sila ay binibigyan din natin ng pagkakataon na bumalik dito dahil sila po ay meron ng mga set skills at saka may mga resources na din po sila para sila ay magtrabaho. So, ang kagandahan po ng pag-create ng departamento na ito ay lahat po ay matitingnan natin yung mga problema at lahat po ay maa-aksyonan na mabilis. Hindi po gaya ngayon, may committee is a government reorganization. So, nire-reorganize lang po natin yung mga bureaus, mga agencies, so that yung mas streamline and a faster service para po sa ating mga kababayan, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, Ginoong Sponsor, yung usapin po ng sinasabi na choice ng mga tao, baka po kailangan natin pag-aralan kung bakit may diaspora tayo na nagaganap ngayon at napakarami talagang Pilipino yung nagtatrabaho sa ibang bansa. At yung hindi po natin, for example, kami po sa Makabayan, we think that there is a failure to address the problems of high unemployment and economic underdevelopment here in the Philippines. At yun po yung dapat unang nire-resolve natin sa kasalukuyan. Ngayon, sa Duterte administration po, mag-i-intensify talaga yung systematic drive to perpetuate a labor export program kapag hindi po nare-resolve yung mga basic issues na ito. Kaya nga, sinasabi ko kanina, halimbawa, wala naman po tayong mga industriya dito, kailangan i-address yung mga economic issues natin, yung contractualization. Ano po bang trabaho meron dito? Puro kontraktual. Tapos, depressed wages, mababa ang sahod. Kahit po hindi siya, sabihin natin hindi siya, hindi gusto ng tao na umalis. Pero dahil ganito yung conditions na meron tayo, parang sinabi na rin natin na tinulak natin sila sa ganong kondisyon, na umalis ng bansa at humanap ng trabaho na may nakabubuhay na sahod at regular ang kanilang status. Kaya, as a policy po, sa usapin ng ito po yung mga basic na dapat tugunan ng Duterte administration sa kasalukuyan na nagfe-fail siya. So, Mr. Speaker, Ginoong Sponsor, hindi pa po tayo nag-uusap nga ng reorganization na tama po ba yung reorganization, pagsasama-sama ng mga ahensya. Nag-uusap pa po tayo ng labor export policy na meron ang kasalukuyang pamahalaan at pag-a-address dito. Kung wala po tayong malinaw na pag-a-address dito, paulit-ulit po itong mangyayari. Na palagi, sa bawat administration, nakita naman po natin yon, palagi, na ang mga administrasyon, nakaraang administrasyon din, ay nagpapadala ng maramihan na mga migrant workers sa labas ng bansa. If this administration really intends to address the roots of the forced migration and to end labor export, bakit po tayo kailangang mag-create ng isang Department of OFW? Diba? Mr. Speaker, Ginoong Sponsor?
Mr. Speaker, alam naman po natin na talagang meron na mga bagay katulad ng mga sa ekonomiya natin na walang choice ang ating mga kababayan. But yan naman po ay ginagawa natin ng paraan. Meron po tayong build program at tinitingnan ko rin po yung mga datos na sa tingin po namin na pag-aaralan ko lang na mabuti ay marami po ang bumabalik na mga overseas Filipino workers dito sa ating bansa. dahil nagkakaroon po ng mga iba't ibang opportunity. Again, opportunities are based on supply and demand. Dahil kung meron po ditong mas maganda na trabaho, siyempre dito po sila pupunta. Kaya po natin kine-create ang departamento na ito ay sa ngayon ay meron pong pangangailangan ang 10 milyon nating kababayan na nasa abroad. Simultaneously po ang pag-solve natin ng problema. Hindi naman po ibig sabihin na hindi tayo dapat mag-create ng isang departamento upang tulungan yung 10 milyon nating mga kababayan dahil hindi pa natin naayos ang ating ekonomiya dito. Kailangan po ay simultaneous ginagawa natin ng paraan. Nagkataon po na meron tayong 10 milyon kababayan na nasa abroad na napakalaki ng kontribusyon sa ating ekonomiya. Dapat po ba nating hindi i-create ang departamento na ito? Ngayong sila ang nananawagan at nangangailangan. Ang sagot ko po doon sa bakit i-create ang departamento na ito ay dahil ito po'y kahilingan ng ating mga kababayan. Yun po ang ating pinakikinggan sa mga panahon ito. Ito po'y kanilang kahilingan at sila po'y naghahanap ng gobyerno na poprotekta sa kanilang mga karapatan hanggang sa sila ay magbalik dito sa ating bansa na merong magandang opportunity. It is also the job of this department to find them a better opportunity when the time comes. So hindi naman po ibig sabihin ngayon walang opportunity ay hindi na natin dapat i-create ang departamento na ito. Mas lalo nga po nating kailangan ang departamento na ito dahil napakadami po ng mga issues na nangyayari ngayon. May mga legal na issues, may mga panghanap buhay issue, trabaho issue. So, mas lalo po nating kailangan. Ito po ang sagot doon sa mga hinaing ng ating mga kababayan para isa lang po yung pupuntahan nila. Dahil ang setup po natin ngayon ay napakadaming ahensya ang kanilang dapat puntahan at iba-iba yung hinahandle na mga programa. So, minsan po ay nagkakadoble-doble pa. So, maganda po ito yung ma-create talaga ang departamento na ito. Again, doon sa mga issue na walang opportunity dito, maaari po, pero hindi po natin sila itinataboy. Hindi po natin sila ipinipilit na magtrabaho abroad. Again, that is their choice. Nagkataon lamang po na meron silang magandang oportunidad sa ngayon. But again, this bill has a sunset provision. In fact, pag-aaralan po natin after 10 years kung kinakailangan po itong departamento na ito. Dahil marami pong mga pangyayari sa ngayon ang pwedeng wala na pong magtrabaho abroad. Katulad po ng example ngayon, pinapauwi yung mga OFW dahil merong mga epidemic sa Wuhan, China. So, agad-agad marami ang babalik. Sino po maghahanda sa kanilang mga pagbabalik? Katulad po sa Middle East, kung sakali, wag naman sana nagkaroon ng giyera ang Amerika at ang Middle East, again, pauuwiin po natin na napakadaming manggagawa, nasa 2 million. So sino po ang mag-aasikaso doon sa repatriation ng 2 million na overseas workers? So sabi ko nga po, ito po yung kailangan talaga natin. Hindi po tayo reactive. Kailangan po i-proactive tayo. Kaya nga po dapat maaga pa, bago pa sila umalis ng bansang ito, ay nabibrief na sila kung ano yung kanilang mga, kung anong mangyayari sa kanila pag sila ay nagtrabaho abroad. In fact, dapat din po nilang malaman yung mga risks na kanilang haharapin. Pwede po silang ma-discourage at pwede naman po silang tumuloy. Kaya nga po yan ay choice nila. Hindi po natin sila pinipilit na magtrabaho abroad. We are not recruiting them to work abroad. But let me just say that the trend, a global trend right now is to send people abroad so that they will learn different skills. Marami po sa Amerika, even sa China, pinapadala nila kusa. It is their policy to send people abroad so that they will learn the global practices, so that they will experience what is the global practices. At ito po ay meron silang programa para bumalik Pagbalik po noon ay dala-dala nila ang kanilang mga kaalaman, dala-dala nila ang mga resources. So yun po ang gusto natin mangyari sa pag-create ng departamentong ito, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, Ginong Sponsor, actually ito po yung sinasabi namin na hindi dapat piecemeal approach ang ginagawa sa mga issues ng OFW para ma-resolve ang malalaking problema ng OFWs in distress. Ano po? Kasi pag tiningnan po natin ng ganon, parang nagmumukhang, oo nga, kailangan po natin, no, nagiging appealing yung magkaroon ng Department of OFW at ito ba talaga yung makaka-resolve sa problema ng ating mga kababayan. So, ito pong piecemeal, no? Kaya nga sa kanina, binabanggit ko po, the policy na meron tayo at yung mga i-resolve na mga issues sa ating bayan, yun talaga yung dapat kasabay, kapanabayan, no? Na makapagbibigay ng genuine na protection. Tapos makakapag-reintegrate sa ating mga kababayan kasi hindi sila maghahanap din sa ibang bansa eh. Necessity po siya eh. Hindi naman siya most of our migrant workers o yung mga lumalabas po ng bansa sa atin, nagtatrabaho talaga. Hindi naman talaga yung, meron tayo, ilan, for global competitiveness siguro, mag-aaral, etc. Pero most of our kababayan, nagtatrabaho talaga yun, di ba? Mula sa domestic workers, hanggang sa mga skilled workers, hanggang sa, yun po ang kalakhan at karamihan. Kaya po pumupunta doon kasi kailangan ng trabaho at nakabubuhay na sahod. Yun yung reality na meron tayo. Nasasagutin nga po sana kung meron tayong industrialisasyon at genuine agrarian reform dito at may improved social services at nakakapag-champion tayo ng labor rights. Pero kapag sa trend po na meron tayo ngayon, binabawal pa yung pag-uunyon at nagkakaroon po ng mga policies sa government na mas lalong pinalalala o pinasisikip yung demokrasya para mas lalong gumanda yung kalagayan ng ating mga manggagawa, abay, di ba? Pag-usapan po natin yon kapanabayan nitong Department of OFW kasi kung ganito lang din po, hindi rin talaga mare-resolve yung tinatawag nga nating diaspora o pag-alis ng bansa ng maramihan ng ating mga kababayan para magtrabaho. So necessity po siya, napipilitan. Yun ang tawag doon, napipilitan yung ating mga kababayan na magtrabaho sa ibang bansa dahil dito, yung kalagayan dito, hindi po maigi para sa ating mga Pilipino. Ganun po yun. So, there's something wrong with that. Kung ang gusto lang natin ay ayusin yung ahensya. No? I-address po natin yung mga basic issues ng ating lipunan. Kapag ganun po natin yung tiningnan, mas maniniwala po tayo na talagang matutugunan ng problema ng bansa. Well, kasama po yung migration. So, hindi po siya piecemeal. Talagang kailangan pong tingnan ng buo, no? Para ma-address yung interest and concerns of the Filipino migrant workers at ng buong mga kababayan natin. So, Mr. Speaker, Ginoong Sponsor, gusto ko lang malaman kaugnay doon sa effects on government employees, meron pong more than 1,000 government employees are expected to be affected by this large-scale reorganization. Ito po yung pangamba ng mga tao. Many could lose their jobs dahil sa mga yung concern sa limbawa ng DOLE, sa National Conciliation and Mediation Board, yung National Labor Relations Commissions, yung government entities outside of POEA and OWA that are bound to have their OFW-related functions na makat. Ano po bang mangyayari sa kanila? Ilan po ba maaapektuhan ito? Ano po ang plano, sa Department of OFW kaugnay nito?
Well, Mr. Speaker, unang-una, yung kanina pong katanungan, gusto ko lang po ipagbigay alam sa ating kasamaan na ang OFWs po na 10 million Filipino overseas mga kasama natin, 41% are OFWs, permanent migrants are 48%, irregular migrants are 11%. So, doon po sa sinasabi na contribution ng ating mga, for example, migrants, 48% po yan. Napakalaki po ng contribution yan sa ating ekonomiya. At kasama po dito yung programa doon sa mga permanent migrants. In fact, hinihikayat nga po natin sila na bumalik sa ating bansa. Meron po mga community-based communications doon sa mga migrants na gustong o pwede mag-invest dito sa atin. So malaki po talaga ang sakop ng ahensya nito, na ang katanungan po kanina ay anong mangyayari doon sa mga ahensya na pagsasama-samahin natin na reorganize. For example, the Office of the Undersecretary for Migrant Workers Affairs, also known as OMWA, will be subsumed under this department. Also, the Commission on Filipino Overseas, also the Philippine Overseas Labor Office, POLO, under DOLE, and also the ELAB, International Labor Affairs Bureau, and also the POEA, and also the Social Welfare Attaché Office, SWATO, under the DSWD, which is now operating as the International Social Services Office. So, ito po ay masasubsume, makakasama po siya doon sa departamento. Hindi naman po nangangahulugan na mawawalan sila ng trabaho. Siyempre, depende po yan sa mga responsibilidad nila, whether it is duplication ba yan ng trabaho o mas marami pang opportunities ang mangyayari dahil nga na-create ang isang departamento na ito. Mas marami po, tingin ko, mas maraming opportunities for them, lateral or vertical movement. Mas marami pong opportunities. Hindi po not necessarily na maraming madi-displace na workers sa government.
May tansya, may study na po ba kayo kung ilan ang maapektuhan ng mga empleyado sa government employees kaugnay dito sa reorganization na magagawa?
I'll get the details, Mr. Speaker, but since it will be subsumed, wala naman pong maaalis doon sa mga workers na existing na ahensya.
So, Mr. Speaker, Ginoong Sponsor, buong-buo na ipapasok siya doon sa ahensya. So, tinitiyak po natin, yun po yung sinasabi nyo, tinitiyak ngayon na hindi magkakaroon ng loss of jobs. No?
That's
sa
correct,
mangyayaring
Mr.
ito.
Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, Ginoong Sponsor. On to my next question, Mr. Speaker, Ginoong Sponsor. Sinasabi rin na batayan ng panukala ang umano'y pagkalito ng mga OFW at ng kanilang pamilya kung saan lalapit sa kalagayang kailangan nila ng tulong. Ilan na po ba ngayon ang host countries na may migranteng Pilipino? Mr. Speaker, Ginoong Sponsor.
Again, Mr. Speaker, ilan countries ang...
Host countries na may migranteng Pilipino.
More or less 150.
Lahat po ba ng mga bansang ito ay may embahada o consulate ang Pilipinas?
Hindi po lahat, Mr. Speaker.
Lahat po ba ng host countries na ito ay may POLO o Philippine Overseas Labor Office, Mr. Speaker, Ginoong Sponsor?
Hindi po lahat, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, Ginoong Sponsor, ang gusto po natin puntuhin dito, hindi pwedeng iangkas sa pagtatayo ng Department of OFW ang pagresolba sa mga fundamental na kakapusan sa pangangalaga ng gobyerno sa ating mga OFW. Kung walang konsulado man lang o polo sa mga lugar na may konsentrasyon ng OFW, bakit uunahin nating magtayo ng isang Department of OFW? At kung wala tayong pinapanghawakan na MOU sa isang bansa para matiyak na walang pang-aabuso sa ating mga manggagawa, bakit uunahin natin ang paggastos sa pagtatayo ng isa na namang bagong ahensya? Mr. Speaker, ginoong sponsor, ang masaklap dito, ang pagtatayo mismo ng Department of OFW, baka mag-anak pa ito sa mas matitinding mga pangangailangan dahil sa direksyon nito na pagtibayin at gawing epesyente ang pag-export ng manggagawang Pilipino sa kasuluk-sulukan ng mundo.
Mr. Speaker, ang budget naman po na ilalaan dito ay kung ano yung existing na mga ahensya, budget ng agencies, yun po ay masasubsume at may idadagdag po tayong 5 billion para pantulong doon sa mga pangangailangan ng ating mga kababayan. At hindi naman po ito masasabing malaki ang budget. In fact, if you consider the contribution of the to the economy o yung mga pinapadala pong remittances ng ating mga kababayan, that is $32 billion a year. So napakalaki po nung ekonomiya na binibigay ng mga remittances na yan. That is almost 10% of our GDP. So how to justify yung budget po na ilalaan dito ay talaga naman pong maliit pa, considering that the contribution to the revenues are that much. So bukod po doon, ang hindi naman po natin makikreate yung mga sinasabi kanina na pagandahin ng ating ekonomiya o bigyan natin ng social services kung wala naman po tayong sources of revenue. This is one of the sources of revenue, Mr. Speaker. So pag tayo po ay nagdidemand ng mga serbisyo, kailangan din po nating hanapan ng sources of revenue. And sa ngayon, ito po isa sa pinakamalaki na source of revenue. Kung dumating ang panahon na hindi na natin kailangan ang mga remittances o kinikita sa mga remittances, ay mas maganda po dahil nangangahulugan na maganda na po ang ekonomiya ng ating bansa, pero hindi po gaganda ang ating ekonomiya kung wala po tayong revenue na inaasahan. At kailanman, hindi rin po gaganda ang mga social services kung wala rin po tayong revenue na nakukuha sa mga OFWs natin o even sa migrants natin na nagpapadala ng pera dito sa ating bansa. So, again, if I justify the creation of this department, number one, it is a necessary department. Number two, pangangailangan po ito ng ating mga, hiling po ito ng ating mga kababayan, na 10 milyong kababayan, na matagal na, ilang kongreso na po ang dumaan at siguro ngayon lang ito may pag-asa maipasa. Kung hindi pa po natin ito ipapasa ngayon, ay kailan pa ho natin ipapasa ang departamento, ang pag-create ng departamento na ito? Antayin po ba natin na gumanda ang ating ekonomiya bago tayo magpasa ng isang departamento? Tingin ko po ay simultaneous po dapat. Marami pong mga nabanggit na issues, but that is the job of other departments. It is not necessarily the job of this Department of Overseas Filipino Workers. It is also the job of other departments to create other opportunities, and it is the job of the government. Ang sinasabi ko lang po ay mas lalo nating paiigtingin, pagagandahin ang kalagayan ng ating mga kababayan kung merong isang departamento na tumututok sa kanila, na alam natin na kung kailangan ay ang programa ay yung pag-repatriate sa ating mga kababayan, yun po ang dapat maging focus ng departamento na ito. It is a balancing act pagka po na-create ang departamento na ito. Anyway, that is an implementation problem. My job is to suggest the creation. Pag na-create po yan, saka po natin pwedeng i-review. Dahil meron naman pong committee, oversight committee, na pwedeng tingnan ang relevance ng na-create na departamento na ito. Whether it is relevant, it could be relevant 5 years, 10 years from now. But as of right now, Mr. Speaker, ito po ang pangangailangan ng ating mga kababayan.
Mr. Speaker, ginoong sponsor, naniniwala po ang kinatawan na ito na kailangan talaga mag-hold ng mga series ng consultations with the OFWs kaugnay nitong i-create o lilikaing Department of Overseas Filipino Workers. Hindi lang po sa mga OFWs, kundi sa public at sa mga stakeholders para naririnig talaga kung ito ba ang sagot, yung pag-establish ng Department of OFWs para sa ating mga overseas Filipino workers, overseas Filipinos. Bukod po doon, nais ko lang sabihin na may mga demands, may mga demands ang mga overseas Filipino workers natin kaugnay ng mga kalagayan nila. Ito ay ilan lamang sa mga maaari kong ibahagi. Unang-una, to conduct a full and independent audit of alleged abuse, misuse, and corruption of OWA funds, and to fully evaluate all of OWA's existing programs. Sinasabi nyo kanina, ipapasok siya ng isang buo, baka po matugunan ng departamento yan. Ikalawa, immediately order the release of OWA funds to all rightful claimants dahil may mga rightful claimants po na hindi pa nakakakuha nito. Pangatlo, recall all abusive and erring officials in all PH Philippine posts. Ikaapat, prosecute officials involved in the Tanimbala and Balikbayan box extortion schemes. Imbestigahan po yung smuggling syndicates na meron dyan. Ika-lima, investigate and prosecute notorious recruitment agencies and their government coddlers, including human traffickers, particularly Cristina Serio and Julius Lacanlao, the traffickers of Mary Jane Veloso. Alam naman po natin yung case noon hanggang ngayon, di ba? Abolish the irrelevant and money-making overseas employment certificate. Meron pong OEC na tinatawag na problema ng ating mga kababayan. Revoke the POEA standard employment contract for seamen. Push for the inclusion of Karil international conventions and norms, obligations of states under international law to respect the rights of migrants and labor in school curricula. Ilan po yan sa mga kahilingan ng ating mga migrante. Ang sinasabi ko po, kung matutugunan ito, lahat ng Department of OFW, siguro po mabuti para sa ating mga migrante kung yon ang magagawa ng isang Department of OFW. Pero kung hindi po, baka pag-isipan po natin ng mabuti. Mr. Speaker, ginoong sponsor, kung ayuda po yung pag-uusapan natin, may provision po dun sa panukalang batas hinggil sa Overseas Filipino Assistance Fund na nagkakahalaga ng 5 bilyon para sa repatriation, legal assistance at iba pang tulong. Fixed po ba ang halagang ito?
Initial fund lang po yan. Siyempre, kung madadagdagan po yan, that is the prerogative of Congress.
Kaya ko po naitanong, Mr. Speaker, ginoong sponsor, sa 5 billion annually, para sa humigit kumulang po natin kanina, na sinasabi ko na 10 milyon na migranteng Pilipino, parang lumalabas pagka tiningnan po natin, 500 lang po kada isang OFW yan. Parang insulto naman po yun sa mga kababayan nating pinipiga ng mga singil at fees bago pa umalis ng bansa, tapos ipapako ang ayuda sa mga OFW sa 5 bilyon. Halos katumbas lang po siya ng confidential fund ng Pangulo ngayong taon. So, Mr. Speaker, ginoong sponsor, tingin po natin, itong mga binanggit ko ay worth na i-review para makita po kung anong makakainam para sa ating mga kababayan sa labas ng bansa. Kung matutugunan effectively at efficiently ng isang Department of Filipino Overseas Department of, tama ba? Department of Overseas Filipino Workers, the OFW, no? Yung mga ganong problema, mainam po yun, pero kung hindi, baka pag-isipan po nating mabuti. Mr. Speaker, Ginoong Sponsor.
Mr. Speaker, just karagdagan na lang po siguro. Yung pong mga binanggit kanina ay they are implementation problems. At pag na-create po ito, ay pwede natin po silang, at least isa lang yung secretary na pwede natin tanungin doon sa mga implementation issues. Ngayon po, yung pondo pong binanggit kanina na 5 billion initially, meron pa po tayong pwedeng pagkuhanan. Ito po yung nakaragdagang pondo. Ito po yung doon sa exemption, doon sa dollar remittances ng documentary stamp tax. Medyo malaki na rin po yun na naipon sa mga nakaraang taon. Kung di po ko nagkakamali, humigit kumulang nasa 15 billion po ang collected doon sa mga exemption doon sa dollar remittances. 15 billion. So, medyo tama po kayo, medyo maliit din. Pero considering that 10 million overseas workers, but hindi naman po lahat ng overseas workers ay nangangailangan ng tulong. Yun na lang po mga vulnerable at yung mga nagkakaroon ng problema. In fact, yung 49% po na migrants na, sila po ang tumutulong. Hindi po sila nangangailangan ng mga pondo. Kaya nga po naiipon yung pondo doon sa OWA dahil hindi naman po lahat ay nangangailangan ng tulong. Again, we are just focusing on the vulnerable sector. At hindi po natin pwedeng i-divide doon sa 10 million. Yan po ay doon sa mga nangangailangan at mas malaki po dapat ang makuha nilang tulong. Depende po sa sitwasyon. So, again, the budget will be allocated by this Congress in terms of kung ano talaga yung kailangan ng departamento nito. But thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, panghuli na lang, Mr. Speaker, Ginoong Sponsor, gusto ko lang balikan ulit na ang kailangan talaga nating asikasuhin sa ating bayan, di syempre, gusto po natin ng magandang polisiya, no? Para nang sa ganun matugunan ang mga basic na pangangailangan ng ating mga mamamayan at hindi nga po sila mapilitang lumabas ng bansa para magtrabaho. Kailangan po natin meron po kaming people economics, no? May magagawa. Maganda pong i-review na ang mga panawagan nito ay isang clean environment, low prices, affordable transport, jobs for all, decent wages, free education, free healthcare, affordable housing. Yun po yung mga kailangan nating magawa dito sa ating bayan, no? Para nang sa ganon, mas maging or mawala na yung labor export policy program ng gobyernong ito. Mr. Speaker, Ginoong Sponsor. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend consideration of House Bill number 5832. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Any objection? The chair hears none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the change of referral of the following measures. House Bill number 3900, creating the National Commission on Disability Affairs from the Committees on Court Government Reorganization and Social Services to the Committee on Court Government Reorganization and the Special Committee on Persons with Disabilities. House Bill number 1291, granting benefits and privileges to junior citizens from the Committee on Welfare of Children to the Committee on Youth and Sports Development. House Bill number 1526, banning minors from full contact competitive sports from the Committee on Welfare of Children to the Committee on Youth and Sports Development. House Bill number 4338, establishing a national program for the Filipino gifted children from the Committee on Youth and Sports Development to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture. House Bill number 5023, granting benefits and incentives to accredited Bantay Dagat from the Committee on Aquaculture and Fisheries Resources to the Committee on Local Government. House Bill numbers 284, 2119, and 4081, promoting integrated urban agricultural development in all metropolitan areas nationwide to address food security concerns. From the Special Committee on Food Security to the Committee on Agriculture and Food and the Special Committee on Food Security. House Bill numbers 855, 3412, 5640, promoting integrated urban agricultural development in all metropolitan areas nationwide to address food security concerns. From the Committee on Agriculture and Food to the Committee on Agriculture and Food and the Special Committee on Food Security. House Bill numbers 3174, 3423, and 5706, allowing the use of waste, energy, technology, and electricity, fuel, and heat generation from the Committee on Energy to the Committees on Ecology and Energy. And House Bill number 3352, requiring all graduating elementary, high school, and college students to plan at least 10 tree samplings, each as a prerequisite for graduation. From the Committee on Basic Education and Culture to the Special Committee on Reforestation. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Any objection? The chair hears none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we nominate and elect members of the House to the following committees. To the Committee on Special Committee on Globalization and WTO, as members, Congresswoman Luisa Banti Quaresma, Congressman Franz Alvarez, the Honorable Florida Robes, the Honorable Geraldine Roman, the Honorable Josefina Taliado, the Honorable Samir Tan, and the Honorable Nina Taduran. To the Committee on Suffrage and Electoral Reforms, as member, the Honorable Francisco Datol. To the Committee on Constitutional Amendments, as member, the Honorable Kong Hil Cabarangay Acosta Jr. And to the Committee on Transportation, as member, the Honorable Precious Castello. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Any objection? The chair hears none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend session for a few minutes.
Session suspended. Session resumed.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adjourn session until 3 o'clock tomorrow, January 29 of 2020. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Session is adjourned until 3 o'clock tomorrow, January 29.